Welcome to the City Commission meeting dated September 24, 2020. Pursuant to Executive Order number 20-193 issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis on August 7, 2020, municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members present, physically or at any specific location, and utilizing communications media technology such as telephonic or video conferencing, as provided by Section 120.54 5B2 Florida statutes. Procedures for public comment will be explained by the city attorney shortly. Procedures for the swearing in of parties for the planning and zoning and/or quasi-judicial items will be explained by the city clerk. Members of the city commission are appearing remotely for this meeting, and they are Alex Diaz de la Portilla, Bill Carollo, Manolo Reyes, Ken Russell, and me, the chairman, Keon Hart. Also appearing remotely are city manager Art Noriega, city attorney Victoria Mendez, city clerk Todd Hannon. The meeting will be open now with the statement by the city attorney's office.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the city clerk and comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the city commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the city clerk's office or online at meetingcode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the city commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the city code in writing. A copy of this city code section is available at the office of the city clerk and online at meetingcode.com. Pursuant to section 2-33 subsection F and subsection G of the city code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda for this meeting was published and made available to the mayor, members of the city commission, and to the public at least 5 full business days in advance of the meeting. The material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the city clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at miamigov.com. Any person may be heard by the city commission through the chair and upon registering pursuant to the published notice for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the city commission unless modified by the chair. Since this is a virtual meeting as authorized by the governor of the state of Florida, members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by visiting miamigov.com/virtual meeting to upload their 2-minute video comments to be played during the virtual commission meeting or to submit their written comments via the online comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been distributed to the elected officials and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials can consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials up until the time the chairperson closes public comment period. Members of the public may also call 305-250-5340 to provide comments via the dedicated City of Miami public comment voicemail, where individuals will be able to leave a 2-minute message that will be played during the virtual commission meeting. Members of the public may also pre-register to provide live public comment by phone during the meeting. You may pre-register by calling 305-250-5341 or online at miamigov.com/government/live-public-comment. All comments submitted will be included as part of the public record for this virtual meeting and will be considered by the City Commission prior to taking any action. The city will accommodate any speakers desiring to appear in person, subject to all applicable emergency measures in place to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. The city has set up a terminal in the event members of the public travel to City Hall to provide public comment. Speakers who appear in person will be subject to screening for symptoms of COVID-19. Any persons exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19 will not be permitted to enter City Hall. All interested parties are required to abide by all state, county, and local emergency orders and are urged to remain at home and practice social distancing. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state his or her name, his or her address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the city clerk. Section 286.014, subsection 4, subsection C of Florida statutes specifically authorized to the city to prescribe procedures or forms for an individual to use in order to inform the board or commission of a desire to be heard, to indicate his or her opposition, support, or neutrality on a proposition. The city, through its multiple comment options, has provided 5 different methods to indicate, among other things, public support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at today's commission meeting. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. These public comment options are established and provided for the virtual commission meeting, comply with section 286.014 and section 120.54 Florida statutes. The city has also created a simple set of instructions explaining how the public may submit their comments with either option. Those instructions were provided in the notice to the public via the city's social media channels and published online at miamigov.com/virtual-meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by city staff and the city attorney on items on the agenda today. PZ items shall proceed according to section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance as temporarily modified pursuant to emergency ordinance numbers 13902, 13903, and 13914. Pursuant to emergency ordinance number 13903 and 13914, parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives and any experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, or appellee, may either be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the city clerk, or may appear virtually and make arrangements to be sworn in by oath or affirmation in person at the location by an individual qualified to perform such duty. Pursuant to emergency ordinance number 13903, members of the general public who are not parties to an action pending before the city commission are not required to be sworn in by oath or affirmation. The members of the city commission shall disclose any ex parte communications to remove the presumption of prejudice pursuant to Florida statute section 286.015 and section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 20 zoning ordinance. Staff will then briefly present each item to be heard. For applications requiring city commission approval, the applicant will then present its application or request to the city commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the city commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and in the city code, provided that the appellant shall present first. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the city commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the city commission must disclose before the hearing anything provided to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to section 2-8 of the city code. Any documents offered to the city commissioners that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the city commission's discretion. If any commissioner thinks the documents supplied to the commission less than 7 days before merited continuance, the item may be continued by the city commission. When the city commission takes action or votes on any proposition before, it shall do so by roll call vote, which shall be recorded by the clerk and included in the record. Anyone wishing to appeal any decision made by the city commission for any matter considered at this meeting may need a verbatim record of the item. A video of this meeting may be requested at the Office of Communications or viewed online at miamigov.com. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. The City of Miami is using Zoom to hold its September 24, 2020 virtual regular City Commission meeting. Zoom is a cloud platform for video and audio conferencing, collaboration, chat, and webinars across mobile devices, desktops, telephones, and room systems. In order to ensure that the public has the ability to view the meeting, the city's communications department will broadcast the meeting through all usual avenues that are provided when a city commission meeting is held fully in commission chambers at City Hall. The meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV at miamigov.com/TV, through the city's Facebook page, on the city's Periscope channel, on the city's YouTube channel, and on Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Additionally, the city has not selected a virtual platform that requires the public to purchase or download any additional software or equipment to watch this meeting. Aside from the Zoom platform and that participants will be appearing remotely, the public will have no discernible difference in their ability to watch the meeting. Commissioners, please confirm you are comfortable with these notice provisions as set forth in these uniform rules and procedures we have established for this meeting.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So City Clerk, will you please state the procedures to be followed?
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals who will be providing testimony to be sworn in for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. The members of city staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall be sworn in by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and or quasi-judicial items. Pursuant to emergency ordinance number 13903, those individuals appearing remotely may be sworn in at their location by an individual qualified to administer the oath. After you are sworn in, please be sure to complete, sign, and notarize the affidavit provided to you by the City Attorney's Office. Each individual who will provide testimony must be sworn in and execute an affidavit. Please email a scanned version of the signed affidavit to the City Clerk at thannon@miamigov.com prior to providing testimony on the planning and zoning item and or quasi-judicial item. The affidavit shall be included in the record for the relevant item for which you will be providing testimony. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. First, are there any mayoral vetoes?
Chair, there are no mayoral vetoes.
Thank you very much. Are there any items that need to be continued by the administration or any of the commissioners?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, Commissioners, Madam City Attorney, and Mr. City Clerk. This time, the administration would like to defer and/or withdraw the following items. On the regular agenda, to be deferred, DTBD to a date to be determined, PH1, which is the Miami for Affordable Housing and Economic Development Bond Plan.
Mr. Manager, I apologize for the interruption. A deferral requires a date certain.
Correct.
So let's do November, the November meeting. I know we only have one meeting in November.
Yes, sir, November 19th.
So Mr. Manager, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Recognize, sir.
So what kind of conversation do you want to have about this in November?
Prior
I think this is one of the issues we've all been talking about.
Yeah, prior
It's
to.
an issue that's important to the chair in particular, and we've all talked about this over months since I got here. So what's kind of like just tell me very briefly what you think is going to be that process.
This needs to be workshopped a little more with each of you because I think what we'd like to do is maybe set up a special meeting specifically to workshop an affordable housing strategy ahead of the commission approving this plan. It wasn't workshopped, I think, as much, or we didn't solicit enough of a feedback on it. And so before we present it to the commission for to take formal action, I'd like to actually get a substantial amount of feedback in terms of the strategy.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please.
This is an issue that I know is of major importance to every single commissioner. We've been talking about this. I talked about it for a year as I was running for office, and we've been talking about it since I got here too. It matters to us. So the sense of finality and getting things moving is important, especially in the times that we're dealing with now and the lack of affordability in Miami. But it's important for us to kind of get, time certain dates, I think, on how we're going to move this issue forward.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we're going to try to set up a special meeting specifically to workshop and get solicited each of the commissioners' perspective as well as the mayor. And then that way we can come back and present an actual strategy that's been vetted with each of you versus what is presented now, which was, primarily done in a bubble, so to speak. So,
Senator, if anything, I would like for it at least to be heard in October, maybe the second meeting in October. That way we have an opportunity. I have an opportunity to comment on it. I don't believe in November.
I agree with the chair.
The idea is to have a standalone meeting specifically to workshop this sometime in October. That's it.
I agree.
That's right.
And my name, Mr. Chair, I agree with the chair. I think that we need to do it in October. We need to tell people what we're thinking, where we're headed, what the solutions that we've been promising, what those solutions are, instead of, delaying it till, because you know what happens in November. We have one meeting in November, and then we have Christmas and New Year's, and
I agree.
we have Mardi Gras and everything else, and nothing happens till April, right? So
Sure.
At the end of the day, let's do it this year. So people know what we're doing. Let's do it sooner rather than later. And people know, hey, you know what? You elected us to address this affordability issue. Let's address the affordability issue head on, and that's so I think October, I agree with the chair, there should be sometime in October, a special meeting, maybe between our first meeting in October and our second meeting in October, something in between, to talk about this and to debate it and for everybody to offer their ideas. Everybody has different ideas on this issue, kind of try to find some common ground that we can. That's just my thoughts on this.
Mr. Chair, I do agree that this merits a standout meeting. Just a meeting for to try to tackle this issue and try to solve all the differences that we have. And I think that a special meeting would be very important. And I agree that we should get it before the end of October. You see, before the end of the month, it could be after the second meeting in October, or before the second meeting in October. And I think that the manager should have the more or less have an idea when he's going to be ready, because his staff have to be ready for this, because we are going to ask a lot of questions, and we need a lot of information in order for us to make an intelligent decision. And so I don't know, Mr. Manager, when you're going to have all your people ready, and I don't know if my fellow commissioners agree that, and we have to be vetted, all of us, in this.
Commissioner Russell.
Especially before the citizens of Miami-Dade County promote our chair, right?
That's right.
They're getting ready to promote him. And I think, I don't know, I'm thinking that he probably wants to stay in this whole process right before he leaves. He's promoted to a better job, right?
No, he won't leave us hanging, man. He'll be there. He'll be there. He's gonna be there.
Easy to put, what's better than chairman of the City of Miami Commission, really?
There's nothing better than that. There's nothing, I think, my opinion, but well, hey.
Chairman, I agree with
Greener pastures down the line, right? I guess,
I agree with Commissioner Reyes and Commissioner Diaz-de-la-Portilla, and I'd like to take it a step further, Mr. Manager. What Manolo just asked for about having the information we need to make these decisions. We have a pretty good baseline of where we are in our affordable housing crisis right now. We really don't know, and I know it's hard to say, what the economic crisis coming from the pandemic will result in terms of
Good point.
homeless and more need. Is there any way to get us some sort of potential projections? Nothing we would hold you to, but a best and worst case scenario of what we're looking at for the next year to 5 years in terms of new needs for affordable housing, based on what jobs have been lost in what sectors and what economics people will be in the city of Miami. I'm very worried about this, and I know we all are. And I'm glad we're taking this very serious in a special meeting to address, because our ability within the bond is to make a difference. Hopefully, it's enough to catch up to what we're facing right now, but I'm fearing it's not.
And in the October meeting would at least give us a fail safe. If we can't get our act together by the time the special meeting comes about, we know that it at least will be on the agenda for October.
Right.
Very good.
All right, so we'll take that then as an amendment request to the October meeting, and then I guess later you'll come back with the special meeting date that we can set.
Chair, is that the October 22nd meeting that we're deferring this to?
No, it's a special meeting.
Yeah, it's a special meeting. So why don't you set the special meeting now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, what we're doing first is at least setting the item. I think the special meeting was going to be workshopped, but at least if you do the special meeting and you're going to vote on it, then when you call it, it could be addressed at that time. But do you want to pick an actual date right now? Is that what you want to do?
Why not?
Why not?
We
gotta do it anyway.
At the chair's discretion, why not? I mean,
That's right.
I like, decisions. Let's make a decision. We pick a date. Let's do it October 15th, October 12th, whatever the heck it is. But let's get something done. Or we can do it later. But let's do it today, right? So that people know what to expect, and we sort of create a deadline and a time frame for the manager to come back to us with what Commissioner Russell recommended. So we have to kind of accelerate it a little bit so we can talk about it.
October 15th is fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So do I move that, or how does that work, Mr. Chair?
Yes, it will be a motion that we can set a special meeting date of October 15th.
Okay, move it.
We'll probably move.
I'll second it.
Seconded. Now, as far as the time, do you want to do it just in the afternoon, morning? What time would you like to set the hearing?
I'm open.
10 o'clock, right? 10, because that way we can talk about it. Some of us like to talk more than others, so it could drag on the whole day. So why don't we start early? Not too early, because we want to start at the right time.
No.
Right? So 10 o'clock works. We can have our coffee. We can do our jogs and everything else we do in the morning. Then we can start at 10.
Let me have 11, because I know I have something I do at 9.
We'll do 11. Yes.
All right. So.
All right, who's buying lunch? Mr. Chair, you going to buy lunch today?
We're not socially distanced.
I mean,
That
you
would be- that would be-
you can
The
Uber to
sushi
every
stands, the
house.
sushi stands.
So just-
That will be an in-person meeting.
So it's been probably moved and seconded. Any readiness?
And Chair, my apologies, Madam City Attorney, the specific purpose that the special meeting is being called for the notice? To be used in the notice?
I would think that this same resolution works, title works, commission, Manager Noriega, is that, pretty much
I'd
the
like to-
same title?
I
Affordable housing
wouldn't
and
title
economic
it that.
development.
I mean, I would title it, it's a workshop, right, to review and develop a affordable housing strategy.
The problem is that if everybody wants to vote, then we need to be specific. If
the
you're
I-
workshopping it, it doesn't matter.
No, it's a workshop, because we're gonna bring the item back of the October 22nd meeting, whatever. the
That's what I was
results of
trying
that
to
workshop are.
clarify.
We'll clean up the plan.
So I have a question.
That's why I was trying to clarify if you wanted a special meeting for this item or the October 22nd date was going to be the item and you were going to workshop it before. So that's what I was trying to get clarity on.
That was the thought.
It's both.
Commissioner Russell, and then the Senate.
Thank you. I'd like to broaden it because we may have discussions of zoning and how that affects affordable housing and what we can incentivize. We want to really bring even just beyond the bond, because if I'm not mistaken, this item specifically refers to the bond. So I want us to be able to have as broad a discussion on affordability and the crisis and the economics of our residents. And I'm okay whether we're able to vote in that meeting or to just compile ideas and bring back a vote in the next meeting. I'm fine either way, as long as it happens while the chairman's still here.
We both.
So
Senator,
what is your pleasure? We
Well,
need to know
let's-
because if
let's-
we're
let's-
What he
setting,
just said, what he just said. I
That's right.
agree with Commissioner Russell. So we have an agenda that we set, my name, Mr. Chair, through you. We have an agenda that we set, we can't set that agenda on October 15th for October 22nd, right? So we don't have enough time. So the issue will be, we have the right to vote on October 15th too, right? Is that the day we're talking about, October 15th?
right? So then that's why if you want to vote on October 15th, we need to make it as broad as possible. So it
I
has to
agree.
do with everything having to do with affordability, bonds, the housing crisis, and any and all resolutions that could come from that. So it would have to be worded that way so that you have as much authority as possible. So then it
So
won't.
worded, so worded that way.
Okay, well,
Well, how about this? We have the workshop and we set a date for workshop on October 15th. But we will also set a date that is going to be brought to the commission on the next meeting,
Well,
on the 22nd, for a vote.
that's
Okay?
why.
For a vote, and right now we set the date for both of them. We're going to vote on the second meeting of October, but we're going to have a workshop prior to that vote. What do you think?
Right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it as broad as possible, just in case you want to vote
Okay,
right after
okay.
your workshop.
Okay.
Because I know how you all get, and you get antsy sometimes. And if I tell you you can't vote, you'll be
We don't
upset.
get antsy. No, I'm sorry. We don't get antsy. We just want to find solutions to what, to the
Absolutely.
problems that people.
I
elected us to
understand.
solve,
That's why we were
right?
elected.
Because it's
So
antsy
I
is not
want
the right
to-
word. It's sort of finality and solutions for the people elect us to do certain things. So we want to find those solutions. So we want to set dates as how we're going to move in that timeline to get to the end of to find a solution to the problem. So
Right.
antsy is not the right word.
If we
Commissioner
tell
Diaz de la
you-
Portilla, we don't get antsy, we get frustrated.
Of course,
Sometimes.
because we want
That's
to
what
solve problems.
Absolutely,
So, you know,
absolutely.
So
Let's
we are
stop the
clarifying.
circular thinking here that's gonna, or this thing that never ends, the
Yeah.
story that never ends, right?
Yeah.
So let's end the story. Let's get to the last chapter.
That's right, I move on.
So then on the 15th, you're going to have an actual meeting, not a workshop, because a workshop you normally don't vote. So it's going to be an actual special meeting that will talk anything and everything having to do with affordable housing, the Miami Forever bond, and any. and all
Zoning, as
resolutions.
Commissioner Russell recommended,
Only-
I'm sorry?
zoning,
If there is a need for special zoning or whatever, you know,
Right.
we have to
That's a
analyze everything, every single aspect of developing affordable housing in the city of Miami. We have to
Okay,
touch all
that would-
bases.
Right. That unfortunately, we won't be able to do any zoning ordinances or anything. We could talk about what we could bring in the future for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Vicky, remember, the idea is to bring forth and have them approve a plan.
That's
If
right.
there are actionable
Right.
items as a result of that plan, specifically related to zoning, they can come through the appropriate channel.
Yes.
We're developing the strategy here, and I want to make
That's
sure
all.
that there is if not even an overall consensus, at least a majority consensus on what that.
And a public conversation about it. So
Different
people see
ideas.
what we're doing and what we're
Correct.
thinking.
And
I
we all
understand. I
have
just
different
wanted-
strategies. We deal with maybe all, and we haven't been able, you know, one thing, we haven't been able to talk as a body, you know, and every one of us, we haven't been able to express how do we think that we should go about it.
Correct.
Every time it comes to the city commission, I mean, it comes as a resolution, as an ordinance or whatever. But I don't know the strategy that Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla thinks that is the best, or Commissioner Hardeman or Commissioner Russell. You see, how do you feel about going out this way or going this way, or what is the most important in your district type of housing that you need? You see, all of us, we have to have a brainstorm and find consensus, and then develop a strategy that all of us could live with it.
I just didn't want to mislead anybody that we wouldn't be able to take an actual zoning ordinance change, because that would have to go to
Mr. Chair.
PSAB and all of that. So
Recognize.
that's all I wanted to clarify. Discuss and take any and all actions related to affordable housing. And we could go from there on October 15th.
You recognize, Senator.
Okay, so what Commissioner Reyes is saying is correct. We know Commissioner Russell, let's say, for example, cares about micro units as an example. And Commissioner Hardeman and I care about, you know, units that have 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
Other people care about, Commissioner Reyes may care about a particular area and a certain AMI. So all these conversations have to be done in the sunshine and open. So that's the purpose of that meeting. Where we take action, it could be noticed, and, you know, we go through the appropriate channels, as our manager said. But the fact that people are waiting for us to have this conversation, let's have it. And let's not wait anymore for it. I mean, I've been waiting a year for it, almost a year, right? So I'm kind of like, Commissioner Reyes said it, I'm not frustrated, but come on. Let's get there. Let's have the conversation. Let's agree or agree to disagree and figure it out. That's what we do as a commission, right? And then ask our manager to implement some of these policies, because people want us to find a solution and find solutions as we move forward. Whatever the different ideas, they all have a lot of merit, by the way. Different parts of Miami require different things. And I think that's why we have single member districts, because commissioners come in and they say, this, my district needs this and my district needs that. And then we all work together and get away from the parochialism. We end up with something where we all land in the same place. I would like to have Chairman Hardeman's input before he leaves. Now, being serious, I want to have your input, because you know that area. You've been a commissioner there for 8 years. It's an important area that we have attainable and affordable housing. You're right adjacent to the area that I represent. I'm right next to you. I need that too for my area. And I want your input on this. And I want you, so that's why I wanted to do it in October, because I want you to share your thoughts and your experience with me on how we can get there.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts on this. And I think I probably went off topic too much here, because we have to move on with a very long meeting today. But I just wanted to make sure that I stress that I ran on this issue. I care about, I think it's the biggest crisis the city of Miami has now, obviously beyond COVID-19, everything else the world is living, right? But our affordability, our attainability and housing is critical to us, and how our people can afford their rents and people can live in this community and come to this community. And to me, that's very important. If I leave here 8 years from now or 7 years from now, I want to leave something good that we did in that area. And that's important to me. I think Chairman Hardeman also thinks that way. He wants to leave something that he at least started before he goes to greener pastures, right, Commissioner?
That's correct. But I want to say also that the item, though, I want to make sure we address that item. Even though we may have those general conversations about everything, I really want to make sure that we address specifically that bond item, because it does some very specific things that have a direct effect on the sort of things that we want to bring into our neighborhood. So, for instance, What I mean by that is it talks about the loan to cost ratios and things of that nature. Those are the things that, to me, caused me a little bit of heartburn when I wanted to, for things that I can envision to happen in my community. Some of those things are necessary. In other ways, they are a hindrance into what we're trying to do for the area. So that specifically in the item, I want to make sure that we address as an item. And then once we kind of close that chapter, then we move into the other discussion.
Well, Commissioner,
I'm going to Senator first, and then Commissioner Reyes.
So you're talking dollars and cents, right? So you want specific allocations?
No.
No.
Not necessarily.
That's a question. I'm asking a question. I mean, do you want to have that meeting talk about, specific allocations of Miami Forever dollars to specific situations, or do you just want to have a general conversation?
We probably can have that conversation anyway in the language that we provided. But what I'm saying is the item that's before us isn't necessarily about specific allocations, but what it does is it limits those allocations that we want to make in the future. So at least I want to close that chapter so we know, okay, this is our playing field, right? That this is we can do more than this, or we can do this, right? And so so that's particularly what I want to make sure that we have a discussion about, so that we can close that item that was presented to us. Once we've done that, then we'll know, okay, this economic development project that I want to do, this affordable housing project that I want to do, it meets within those guidelines. The problem that I have with what we have now is that the things that I envisioned for my community, we couldn't do it because of the guidelines that were provided in the agenda item. So that's why I want to make sure we specifically address the agenda item, and then we move on to the rest of the discussion. Because once we've cemented the agenda item, we know what items that we can move forward with in our discussion. Commissioner Reyes?
yes, Commissioner, and if I understood, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, that's precisely what Alex was Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla was referring to, that we are going to identify the needs of every different areas, and how are we going to go about it? And how are we going to be going about it being equitable to all the other districts? And how can we work together and solve problems that affect boundary districts? And because probably in Flagami, we have certain needs that they are not the same as in Liberty City or in Alapata, for example. And that's what we are going to identify, and we're going to work as a unit, trying to help every single district, and based on need or whatever we decide to do. You see, but that was precisely what the senator was referring to, in my opinion. You see.
So we've clarified it on the record that we will have an item. That item is the item that's on the agenda that's being continued to that special meeting. Mr. Clerk.
Chair, just so you're aware, if the special meeting is on October 15th and we defer PH1 to October 15th, and for whatever reason, if an action is not taken on this item at the October 15th special meeting, the agenda will have already gone to print for the October 22nd meeting.
That's my point.
So we wouldn't be able to get it on for that October, on the actual agenda. It would have to probably be bought as a pocket item for the October.
Why don't we set a date? Why don't we set a date that says, okay, we're going to have this, this workshop, and the findings of this workshop will be presented, and it will be in the agenda for the second meeting of October. Can we do that?
If it's a workshop, then it's wording it incorrectly, then we won't be able to vote on it. Madam City Attorney, can we put it on both agendas?
Yes, let's just
Okay.
do that. Let's move, that was my suggestion, move this item to October 22nd.
Okay.
And then on October 15th, we're gonna do any and all related to affordable housing, workforce housing, bonds, all that. That's what's going to be discussed. And we could put a similarly worded, if not same exact item on that as well, plus any and all other resolutions you're going to come up with on that meeting. So I think that resolves it. And that was, I'm sorry, but that's what I was trying to figure out when I was asking you all the questions about.
Before we got answered, right?
I think I heard that before. That's a question.
Okay, let's move. Let's move.
That would be, if the mover and second would agree that what the city attorney is.
Yes.
What
Well, I was the mover. I agree.
motion would be.
Well, Chair, and I apologize. The motion is to essentially just schedule the special meeting for October 15th at 11 a.m. For the purpose stated by the city attorney. So if we could take a vote on that motion, then we'll come back to PH1 and defer that to the October 15th. Wait,
22nd,
October
22nd.
But wait, Todd, why don't we take a motion on the workshop? There's more items that have to be deferred. Because all you asked me for initially was a specific date for that. I'll
that can
include
all
it
be
in.
done at the same time during the order of the day. Right now,
Correct.
I'm just trying to get a vote
Correct.
on the special meeting for October
Correct.
15th at 11 a.m. That's all I'm asking for.
Okay, so, let's withdraw all of our motions right now. So we're clean slate. The chair would like a motion to set a special meeting date.
So moved. So
Second.
moved.
Any discussion?
Second.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against?
For the reasons specified by the city attorney earlier during this discussion.
Correct. Now we have a special meeting date. Now, for instance, PH1 is an item that we want to actually hear on that date. So, Madam City Attorney, what you're asking for is a motion to put an item as close to PH1 as possible on that special meeting date. Yes?
No, the suggestion
October
was to move
22nd.
it to October 22nd.
Correct.
And then
Okay.
have also an item
Right, so,
as
I mean-
close to. Same thing.
It's the same thing, right? So, okay. So let's do this then. So the way that you all see it, I'll do it that way first. Is there a motion to continue item PH1 to October 22nd?
Move
So
it.
moved.
Second.
I'll move that second. Any discussion?
And we're back to the order of the day. So if the manager would like to now go down the entire list.
We'll do that, but let's just tackle this for right now. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Against?
Yes.
That motion carries.
Now we'll go.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, before you go on with the manager goes on with the rest of the deferrals. Mr. Clerk, sometimes it's important to have important conversations about important issues, right? So this debate was important for us. So, and the technicalities matter, but the conversation is sometimes more important than technicalities. So that's why we want to make sure that everything is done the right way. I know
Yes.
the manager has a whole bunch of deferrals that he wants to do that we can discuss, but none will be more important than what we just discussed right now.
Understood, sir.
So,
Yes.
In the matter of public policy, we kind of know what's really, really important here. And this is the biggest issue we have in our city right
Yes, sir.
then, Madam City Attorney, do we need a motion to put the item on the agenda that mirrors PH1, or are you going to tackle that with your direction?
Since we're doing anything and everything having to do with affordable housing, workforce housing, bonds, etc., we can do that for you. Or since this is a matter of great importance, you can just direct the manager and I to make sure that there is an item as close to, just so that it's on the record and it's clear.
Right.
To
So,
this
Chair,
item
I'd
as
say to take a
possible.
motion to create an item that mirrors the language of PH1 that we've just continued to be placed on the October 15th special commission meeting.
Wait.
Is there a motion?
now. I'll move it.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I want clarification on it. In layman terms, what are you proposing? That this same item will be brought back on October 22nd?
So
Same
now,
language and all that, or we can't reform it
what you'll see,
according
now,
to what we have done?
you'll
So
see,
we're going to place an additional item that is going to reflect the decisions and the conversation that we had on October 15th.
right, so what you'll see is that the PH1 agenda item is on the October 22nd agenda.
Okay.
We're having a special commission meeting on October 15th.
Yes.
There's going to be an item on the October 15th agenda that is going to be as similar as possible to the PH1 item that's on the October 22nd agenda. The reason you're doing that is so that if we come to an agreement about everything, we can handle the item then in the October 15th meeting. Then if we do that, the October 22nd agenda item will be of no consequence, right? We can withdraw because we effectively made our decision, and all the work that we would have done on October 15th, if we come to a conclusion, we can have action, and then that door is closed. And then the October 22nd date, which is a safe
I got
date.
it. Second,
is no consequence.
second, I got it.
I knew there was a reason why you're a chair, by the way. That was the most succinct way I've ever, it's great, it's awesome, really. Perfect.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Against? That motion carries. Okay, now, the rest of the order of the day.
So, to be deferred to October 8th, PH 6, to be withdrawn, RE 1, to be indefinitely deferred, DI 1, to be indefinitely deferred, DI 2, for the PZ agenda, to be deferred to October 22nd, PZ 3, to be deferred to October 22nd, PZ 9, and to be deferred to October 22nd, PZ 10. That concludes the items.
All right,
Hold on a second. Wait. Let me see.
Mr. Manager, run through.
PC 3, okay, the third. Okay, fine.
My audio, a couple of those.
Mr. Manager, just run through it one more time so that everyone's on the same page.
Yeah,
To be deferred to October the 8th, PH 6. To be withdrawn, RE 1. To be indefinitely deferred, DI 1. To be indefinitely deferred, DI 2. That's for the regular agenda. For the PZ, Planning and Zoning agenda, to be deferred to October 22nd, PZ 3. To be deferred to October 22nd, PZ 9. And to be deferred to October 22nd, PZ 10.
Okay.
let me,
Recognize.
thank you. Let me ask you about PZ 9 and PZ 10. What's happening there?
I think that was specifically at the request of the applicant. They requested that the items be deferred.
I can shed a little bit of light. I've been meeting with Ben Fernandez on that issue. That area of Douglas Road between Douglas Park and US 1, you can picture that area. We've been talking about it for at least 2 years now as a really good potential area for increased intensity and density with affordability involved. I believe it's underdeveloped in that area, but you know, his client doesn't want to wait for a full revamp study, and I understand that. So we're digging a little deeper on his client's interest there right now. He had the same client had a previous upzoning just above that, so we're trying to make a comprehensive plan with him so that he can move forward in the next month.
I know it's your district commissioner. Who's the client?
I do not recall the name of the developer. It's not a big project, but I've only worked directly with Mr. Fernandez on this.
Okay. Okay. May I ask the manager on RE1, what was the proposal there? Why you're deferring that?
That particular board had proposed what is listed on the reso regarding health insurance. And they voluntarily withdrew it, given the financial situation the city's in.
So why are we deferring it? Why just not withdraw it?
It is being withdrawn.
Oh, it's being withdrawn. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's a withdrawal, not a deferral.
Oh, withdrawal, I'm sorry. I understood deferral. I apologize. Okay. All right.
Is there a motion to approve the order as stated as a record?
Are there any
So moved.
additions from commissioners?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Commissioner Russell, you're recognized.
Thank you. I have received some concerns from residents on PZ8. So I'd just like to spend a little more time understanding the intent of the zoning change and how which properties that would affect throughout the city. And so I'm asking the for a continuance of that item of PZ 8. If there is any reason from the city administration that this is time sensitive, please let me know. But to my understanding, it's not. So I would just like to have just that month to put the residents at ease with what the intent of this zoning change is and what the actual effects, and make sure there's no unintended negative effects.
And Chair, just for the record, that will be October 22nd.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other items from any other commissioners? Commissioner Russell, is that a motion?
Yes, and if it could be noticed, I'd like to co-sponsor both CA6 and RE7. I don't know if this is the appropriate time, Mr. Chairman, but order of the day seems all right.
On the record.
So yes, I'm glad to move the order of the day.
And Chair, just for the record, the mayor would also like to sponsor RE7.
Noted on the
Thank
record.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes.
Thank you, sir. Thanks to you.
For a second, the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All against? That motion carries. Okay. At this time, we're going to move to public comment. So there is a member of the public that would like to make a comment on today's meeting. This is your opportunity to do so. You have 2 minutes to address this body. State your first name, your last name. You may state your first name, your last name. You may state your address, and which item it is that you are referring to. And what we'll do, yes, Madam City Attorney.
I'm sorry, there's one pocket item, and
Okay, yes.
and if there were any other pocket items that we weren't aware of, now would be a good time to, before your public comment calling.
Can you read the pocket item heading into the record, please?
This is the mayor's pocket item. A resolution of the Miami City Commission recognizing the growing problem of anti-Semitism in America and calling for the adoption of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition of anti-Semitism, including the 11 contemporary examples stated herein as an important tool to address it, further directing the city manager to ensure that the IHRA working definition of anti-Semitism is available as an educational resource for the Department of Police and other city agencies responsible for addressing anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination.
Okay, well, then we'll identify that as PI number 1 for identification purposes. Is there any other pocket item?
Not that I'm aware of, but.
All right. So at this point, then I'll open the floor for public comment. What we will do is we'll take anyone that's at the lectern in City Hall first. From there, we'll do the live caller number 1, caller number 2. And then from there, we will have any pre-recorded public comments to play. So we'll start with
Yeah, there's no one at City Hall, so we're gonna go straight to the call. So call taker 2, I think you've had your person on hold the longest, so if you can, you're live.
Thank you. Caller, you are live on commission. Please speak.
Hey, good morning, Commission. My name is Derek Holmes. I'm speaking on behalf of Transit Alliance Miami, located at 169 East Flagler Street, Miami, Florida, 33131. I'm commenting in support of item RE3 to extend the scooter pilot program. Since its implementation, the pilot program has raised over $1 million towards Miami's protected bike lane network. Now that the mayor has lifted the ban, we urge the City Commission to extend the pilot program until the implementation of a permanent program and ensure Miami residents continue to access these mobility options. Thank you.
Okay, call taker 1, you're live.
Ma'am, go ahead. You're live with the commission.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Fernandez with Crown Castle, 211 Northwest 102nd Street. We are requesting a deferral of item SR1, Ordinance 7634. In Section 54-3A, the permit requirement for installation and maintenance will create so much more work for your permit review staff, who is already overworked and unable to review telecommunications permits for right-of-way in the 60 days less as required in 337-401. To be clear, we're talking about work that does not disturb the dirt, meaning zero construction or use of a shovel. The 7-layer cake of approval to splice or maintain fiber and antennas equals at a minimum 90 days to review, to receive a review for maintenance or splicing work that takes an hour or less to complete. For example, if a business or resident orders fiber into their home or business, the police department, Department of Resilience and Public Works, off-street parking department, risk management department, net office, transit and mobility, and city manager would need to review with a minimum of 90 days. During this challenging COVID recovery, our community needs connectivity more than ever to work from home, learn from home, connect with doctors via telemedicine. This policy would disadvantage the homebound and place our community further from the goal of becoming a tech startup hub in the United States. Also, in Section 54-42D, site restoration bond, we're requesting the language to be modified to meet industry standard industry standard cancellation notice to third parties. The language is currently proposed makes it really impossible to
Excuse me, ma'am, your 2 minutes have expired.
notice of modification of insurance policies.
Okay, we're waiting to get the next caller on the line. 1 second, please. Call taker 1, you're live.
Sir, go ahead. You're live with the commission.
Yes. Good morning, commissioners, chairman. My name is Keon Williams, resident and business owner here in Overtown. My comments this morning really is to express to you guys how important this issue of homelessness is in our neighborhood in Overtown. There are so many encampments in the public spaces. It's a shame. And I understand that we allocate so much money to eradicate poverty here in Miami. I just think that when we look at neighborhoods like ours, where we're trying to invest in businesses, we're trying to improve the quality of life, the continuation of stuff like this really does not help that. It is only exacerbated by the issues of COVID-19 and other things that are coming down the line. And I want to see this commission that cares about its city so much do the same thing for Overtown. Secondly, I don't want to see any of our net offices closed. Particularly, these net offices have been very important. I would encourage the commission to go back and look at why we even put net offices together in the first place. These are the frontline places where residents and business owners can go to whenever they may have an issue getting permits or dealing with MRC building. I think this is something that does the commission very well. Every resident that I've spoken to in my neighborhood and business owner wants to see this stay in place. We have a wonderful relationship with our net officers, along with our net resource officers, the police officers who work out of there. And I just think that that's gonna undo the goodwill that has been done by the city, both with law enforcement, because we understand there's an issue there. But our neighborhood officers have been wonderful for us in working together. But more importantly, that net administrator who runs that office has done wonderful things for us. So I consider these comments taken very seriously because I understand that you guys have a lot of work to do. I know we're trying to balance the budget. I know we're trying to make sure things get put in place. But please do not forget about Overtown. This is someone that's born and raised there, business owner there, trying to make it happen, and I understand the work that you do. I just hope that you guys keep this in mind going forward. Thank you much for your time.
Okay, waiting to get the next caller on the phone. 1 second, please. Call taker 1, you're live. Call taker 1, if you have someone, you're muted. Yeah.
My apologies, the line disconnected.
Okay, no worries. Do you have any more comments?
This was my last caller. Ma'am, are you ready to speak to the commission? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. You can speak with the commission. They're live on the call.
I'm sorry, I have really bad connection.
Okay, we will try to call you back.
Okay, we're done with the voice public comment. We're going to go now to the pre-recorded public comments.
Good morning. My name is Keith Ivory. I reside in the city of Miami at 1181 Northwest 8th Street Road. I am calling reference to zoning of the T680 to keep the Highland Park neighborhood from high-rise buildings. The fact that this will drive the property tax, we will lose our homes over here. People would have to move out. Also, there are a number of renters here in this area. In apartments, will the renters, if they're moved out, should be provided 3 months of adequate rent for removal. All these things have not been discussed with the city of Miami and also with our commissioner, Keon Hardeman. At a time of pandemic, COVID-19, unemployment, how is it able that these high-rises are going to function? The economy is so bad. Please save our neighborhood. We're being pushed out. We're being gentrified. I lived in Miami. My family came here in the 1890s as sharecroppers. I'm familiar with Miami. I go all the way back to the Hardeman family, back to Shirley's Market in Liberty City in the 1960s. And I'm quite surprised that our commissioner, the distinguished Mr. Hardeman, with all due respect, is leading the charge to push us out of our neighborhood here in Highland Park. As you know, the history of this neighborhood goes way back. 7th Avenue, which is our boarding, 441, was once the segregation line that blacks from over town could not cross. 7th Avenue. But now that blacks and other ethnicities are living across 7th Avenue, we're being pushed out. So please, help us save our neighborhood, especially during this time of this pandemic. I'm looking forward to all of you commissioners. Thank you to the Zoning and Planning Commission for helping us out in the Highland Park neighborhood, for giving us some more time to get these issues in front of the commission board. Big thanks to the Planning and Zoning Department at the last meeting on this item of changing Highland Park to T680 to allow high-rise buildings in this neighborhood. Thank you so much.
This is Joseph Martinez, address 521 Northeast 2nd Terrace, 33138. And I'm calling in support of agenda item RE4. Specifically, I support the dissolution of Miami 21 Task Force. Any review of Miami 21 must be rooted and shaped by the community's input, especially those that are most vulnerable to the displacement. The formation of the task force was flawed from the very beginning because it excluded the community's voice in the planning process. The task force heavily weighed in favor of the developers and lobbyists with little, if any, representation from the directly impacted communities or people, which diminished the capacity to fairly address the community's concerns. Before the task force had their meeting, 3 of the 8 members appointed had affiliations with the developers as lawyers or lobbyists. Hence, they were placed under review by local and state ethical boards. The sponsor stated that he wants this process to protect communities. The best way to do that would be to place the community's voice at the center of the reviewing process. So we're asking for a revision of Miami 21, that it be a truly equitable process that concerns the most impacted by the developments. Communities like West Coconut Grove, Little Haiti, Liberty City, Overtown, and Allapattah that stand to be greatly impacted by the use of the City of Miami's zoning code. It's critical that we provide space within the review process for the community members who have been directly impacted by the current regulations and have actively engaged in shaping the conversation on Miami 21 for years.
Good morning. My name is Louis-Casey Agent. My address is 100 Northeast 84th Street. I support agenda item RE4. Specifically, I support the dissolution of the Miami 21 task force. I think any review of Miami 21 must be rooted in community input, especially those most vulnerable to displacement. So I support again that community, because the formation of this task force has been flawed from the start, excluded community voices vital to the planning process. So any update and revision of Miami 21 must be done with a truly equitable process that centers those most impacted by such developments. Communities like West Coconut Grove, Little Haiti, Little Overtown, Liberty City, Allapattah, to stand to be greatly impacted by the use of the City of Miami zoning code should have a meaningful opportunity to input and comment. So any task force or supplemental process established to review Miami 21 must make space for directly impacted people from communities vulnerable to displacement. We have precedent for this in the C-level committee. So the task force. The bodies like PISA already exist to advise on these matters. So shaping that process around community input, including from university partners who have studied the impact of Miami 21 on our neighborhood, deliver the revisions that will allow both the city and its revision to thrive.
Amal Sol Kabani, resident 50 Biscayne, President, Downtown Neighbors Alliance. Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. Zoning item PZ8. While the spirit behind this incentive is well-intentioned, we require sufficient guardrails to be added. Currently, the language, and I quote, excludes abutting CS, is buried in the supplemental and needs to be brought forward so that there is no confusion. Unless this inclusion is well emphasized, the DNA encourage you to vote no. Budget item BH2, 3, and 4. We have reviewed the proposed DDA budget with Executive Director Christina Crespi. DNA is in favor as it contains all the provisions our community is looking for. We kindly ask you to vote yes as proposed. Thank you.
Greetings, Commissioners. My name is Kelly Cox. Address is 2103 Coral Way, second floor, Miami, Florida, 33145. I am the General Counsel at Miami Waterkeeper, a local nonprofit that works to defend and protect South Florida's water resources. Today, I'd like to speak to agenda item RE7 and SR1. These agenda items are important for the health of Biscayne Bay. The first of which, RE7, is a resolution directing the state lobbyists to move for funding to support septic to sewer conversion in South Florida. This is extremely important. I'm in favor of this resolution. We know that nutrient pollution from septic tanks can lead to degraded water quality conditions, creating problems like fish kills and algae blooms in Biscayne Bay. And we know that our septic systems fundamentally do not work in South Florida. So I'm encouraged to see this resolution on the agenda. Miami Waterkeeper and our membership is in favor of it. And we ask further that the Commission take additional action in pursuit of proactive funding to address septic to sewer conversion. We understand this is a sea level rise and resiliency issue, and we need to take urgent action to address it. I'm also here to speak about SR1, which is, I believe, Commissioner Ken Russell's ordinance on second reading to address sedimentation from construction sites. We're also in favor of this item moving forward. This is an important action by the city to address stormwater pollution, but the city needs to continue to take steps to address stormwater pollution. We need routine inspections and enforcement of stormwater permits. We need to codify the requirements of the stormwater master plan. We need best management practices that include things like increased street sweeping, increased storm drain cleaning, grates on every storm drain in the city, and so forth. Miami Waterkeeper is happy to partner with the city on these measures, including building out an education campaign to support this work. And as always, we appreciate the city's leadership on advancing water quality for Biscayne Bay. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Good morning. This is to whom it may concern. My name is Harvey Rivera. I am the owner of 1325 Northwest 8th Avenue. It came to my knowledge that the zoning in this area is being changed. So I agree 100% because that area, it needs so much to be developed, especially for the hospital, JMH, Jackson Memorial Hospital, the school that is across the street, across 7th Avenue, and it's especially in that area that is already old and it needs to be changed. So I agree 100% on that, so please go ahead and do it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Riley Palmer, and I live at 1206 Bridgewood Street in Coral Gables. I would like to comment on agenda item RE7. I would like to say that I support this resolution. Septic tanks can add excess nutrients to our waterways, which negatively impact marine life. Due to Florida's poor substrate and the high density of the urban population, coupled with sea level rise, already at least half of the septic tanks in southern Florida don't work properly. I would ask that the Commission prioritize pursuing funding both at the state and federal level, as well as prioritizing septic to sewer conversion in the city. Thank you.
My name is Richard Tardanico. I'm a sociology professor at FIU, and I'm calling in regard to agenda item RE4. I'm calling in favor of the dissolution of the Miami 21 Task Force. Revision of Miami 21 must give authentic voice to community residents. I recommend that FIU's Metropolitan Center and UM's Office of Civic Engagement collaborate to organize community-based meetings and to conduct a study to recommend fundamental changes to Miami 21. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Danielle Goodman, 43 Northwest 85th Street, Miami. I'm calling in support of RE4, specifically the dissolution of the Miami 21 Task Force. People directly impacted by current regulations and have been actively engaged in shaping the discourse on Miami 21. People from communities vulnerable to displacement need to be centered in any review process. The task force as constituted has been problematic from the start. not only because of the ethical conflicts of 3 out of 8 appointed members, but also because it duplicates the efforts of existing bodies like PSAP. Community and university input is vital to any process that will deliver useful results to city and residents. Thank you for dissolving the task force and instead providing an equitable review process rooted in community input. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, and Mayor, my name is Jessica Fernandez on behalf of Crown Castle. I'm at 211 Northwest 102nd Street. Today we're requesting a deferral of item SR1 Ordinance 7634 with respect to Section 54-3A on installation and maintenance. Basically, this new requirement would create so much more work for an already overloaded city staff. It's a 7-layer cake of approval process for simple splicing and maintenance of fiber or antenna projects where no dirt would be moved or disturbed. So we're really asking that that be modified to create a much more business-friendly environment and make sure we can realize a great connectivity in our community. Also, with respect to Section 54-42D, reference the site restoration bond, we're requesting that language be modified so that it can meet industry standard cancellation notice to third parties. The language as it's currently proposed makes it nearly impossible to comply with, as insurers do not currently provide us with prior notice of modifications of our insurance policies. We thank you very much for the consideration of deferring this item and appreciate any opportunity to collaborate with you and on this important ordinance that you all are considering. Thanks so much.
Hello, my name is Winfred Chad McKendrick II. My address for the record is 5833 Southwest 62nd Avenue, South Miami, Florida, zip code 33143. Today I will be speaking on item SR1. I am a graduate of Florida Atlantic University with a Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences and a concentration in marine biology. I am currently a Master of Professional Science student in Coastal Zone Management track at the University of Miami Erasmus campus. During my undergrad, I researched and traveled to Fort Myers to study the effects of runoff pollution in Estero Bay. The bay's health had gone in decline due to years of runoff. This runoff caused an algal bloom with large mats across the water. These algal mats took oxygen from it and killed all of the animals under it, smothering the seagrass meadows below.
Hi, my name is Hill Blackett. I reside at 5824 Northwest 5th Court in Miami. And I am commenting on agenda item RE.4. That is the repeal of the Miami 21 Task Force. I very much support abolishing this task force. We absolutely need to start over from scratch. The reimagining of our zoning code needs to be done by the people most impacted by gentrification, by climate change. We need to implement measures that are going to ensure that everyone is going to have a place in Miami moving forward. And additionally, as far as the need for expertise, we already have the Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board. So I think it is absolutely unethical and immoral to have, folks who represent developers writing the zoning code. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Bilala Madafis. I work at Catalyst Miami, 3000 Biscayne Boulevard. I'm calling in support of agenda item PH3. I'd like to support this item. I think it's great that you're increasing the amount of rent given that can be repaid to landlords given the unexpected length of this crisis. And I'm asking that you add on an additional clause to
make sure that landlords receiving this public funding cannot then turn around and evict the tenant through which they're getting the funding. All right. Thank you so much for putting forth this compassionate policy. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
My name is Natalie Bryce, and my address is 6566 Southwest 52nd Terrace. I would like to speak on item number RE7 regarding nutrient pollution. I'm in favor of this action and encourage the City of Miami to take additional steps in the future towards addressing stormwater pollution. I believe that a stricter enforcement and inspection procedures would be a great step towards addressing the water quality here in Miami and surrounding areas. As a student at the Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Science, I'm concerned about the quality of water in Biscayne Bay and surrounding areas that we frequently learn about and recreate in. Thank you for your time.
My name is Fausta Pozier. I am the owner of 1319 Northwest 8th Avenue, and I agree with the rezoning, and I think it will be very good for our neighborhood.
Hello, my name is Colin Schladweiler, address 2103 Coral Way, Miami, Florida. I'm speaking today in favor of agenda items RE7 and agenda item number SR1. For agenda item RE7, nutrient pollution from septic tanks can add excess nitrogen and phosphorus to our waterways. Septic tanks simply do not work in South Florida due to our high water table, porous limestone substrate, geographic proximity to water resources, and high density urban environment. There are over 100,000 septic tanks in Miami-Dade County, and at least 50% are already compromised. Failing septic tanks also pose a public health threat and can expose people to harmful contaminants and pathogens. We support this resolution calling for state and federal funding, but we cannot delay the City of Miami's own investment in this infrastructure. We ask this commission to prioritize septic to sewer conversion for properties in the city that can be connected through the investment of city financial resources such as Bay Homes Drive and Coconut Grove. For agenda item SR1, Biscayne Bay is impacted by many non-point sources of pollution from dirty stormwater. This ordinance would increase the City of Miami's response to pollution stemming from construction sites. I am in favor of this action and encourage the city to take further steps to address stormwater pollution. The city should conduct routine inspections and enforcement of locations with stormwater permits to increase compliance with those permits. Thank you for your time.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Sabrina Velarde. On behalf of Miami Homes for All in support of PH3. Our address is 1951 Northwest 7th Avenue, Suite 600, Miami, Florida 33136. We wanted to thank you for considering this item today. As we all know, Miami is in the midst of an affordable housing crisis. This crisis has only been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. And prior to shutting down, we knew that half of the households in the city of Miami were earning $35,000 or less a year. Of those households, 70% were cost burdened and struggling just to make ends meet. Since then, those numbers have only increased. PH3 helps both renters and landlords ensure that folks remain sheltered during this critical time. Studies continue to show that eviction is a harmful and traumatic experience that can have long-term effects on households. Eviction prevention not only reduces instances of the experience of homelessness, but also alleviates the burden of potential litigation on both the property owners and the tenants. Eviction prevention also makes it less costly for cities to provide emergency housing assistance when somebody is already experiencing homelessness. The data continues to show us that our crisis is only getting worse. This pandemic has caused record job loss and housing insecurity. We need to do everything that we can to implement policies that will create housing options for all income levels and prevent homelessness in the city of Miami. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Snell. I reside at 1161 Northwest 7th Court, where I've been since 2000. I'm a single mom that raised 5 kids there, and I do not approve of the changes that you're trying to make right now. Right now, I'm raising 2 grandchildren, currently trying to get more. I'm foster my parents, and I do not approve of the changes. Thank you, and have a blessed day. Bye.
Hello, my name is Jessica Dennis. I live at 35 Edgewater Drive in Coral Gables, Florida. I am commenting on agenda item RE7. I am a member of Miami Waterkeeper, which is a local environmental nonprofit advocating for swimmable, drinkable, fishable water for all. I want to add that nutrient pollution from septic tanks can add excess nitrogen and phosphorus to our waterways, leading to degraded water quality conditions. Septic tanks simply do not work in South Florida due to our high water table, porous limestone substrate, geographic proximity to water resources, and high-density urban environment. There are over 100,000 septic tanks in Miami-Dade County, and at least 50% are already compromised or not working properly for part of the year. This issue is compounded and made worse by sea level rise, which we already know the city of Miami is facing. Failing septic tanks also pose a public health threat and can expose people to harmful contaminants and pathogens commonly found in sewage. We at Miami Waterkeeper support this resolution, calling for state and federal funding, but we cannot delay the city of Miami's own investment in this infrastructure. We ask this commission to prioritize septic to sewer conversion for properties in the city that can be connected through the investment of city financial resources, such as Bay Homes Drive and Coconut Grove. We also ask that this commission be proactive in the pursuit of funding by applying for state and federal grants, as well as considering using resilience and funding to address the sea level rise issue. We must take urgent action and cannot wait for federal or state funding to trickle in before we address this pressing pollution problem. Thank you once again, Commission, for your leadership and the opportunity to comment. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Terry Munoz. I'm a UM student from the Rosensville School of Marine Atmospheric Science. I live in North Bay Village, 7935 East Drive. And I would just like to talk about agenda item RE7. As many of you may know, nutrient pollution from septic tanks can add excess nitrogen and phosphorus to our waters, leading to degraded water quality conditions. Septic tanks just cannot be a part of South Florida due to the high water table and porous limestone substrate, and makes it very close to our water sources and our high urban environment. In fact, there are 100,000 septic tanks in Miami County, with at least 50% of them already compromised. Failing septic tanks is close to grave a public health threat. I'd like to say that I support this resolution for calling for state and federal funding, but we should not delay the state of Miami's own investment in this infrastructure. I ask the Commission to prioritize septic to sewer conversion for properties in the city of Miami. In addition, I would like to talk about agenda item SR1. As many may also know, Biscayne Bay is impacted by many non-important sources of pollution from dirty stormwater. In addition, construction sites can be particularly bad. This ordinance from the city of Miami's response to pollution stemming from these construction sites is a good one. I'm in favor of this action and encourage the city to take further steps to address the stormwater pollution. The city should conduct routine inspection and enforcement locations with stormwater permits to increase compliance with these permits. The city should increase the frequency of street sweeping and storm drain cleaning and to require grades on every storm drain. I thank the city of Miami's leadership for their time, and goodbye.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Suzanne Doblecki-Lewis. I'm a physician and associate professor of clinical medicine at the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine, located at 1120 Northwest 14th Street in Miami. I'm the UM lead for the NIH Coronavirus Prevention Network and the site principal investigator for the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine trial. I'm speaking in favor of item RE6. As you know, the COVID-19 vaccine effort requires setup and execution of large clinical trials in an unprecedented time frame. Practically speaking, this means that we're pushing the physical limits of available space in our clinical research units at UM. The federal government, through Operation Warp Speed, has provided the trailer that to allow additional space for enrollment and follow-up of our COVID-19 vaccine participants. The University of Miami has been very successful in bringing in participants representative of the diversity of Miami and performing high-quality clinical research in this important area. This resolution will allow us to use the government-provided trailer, currently located at 1950 Northwest 7th Avenue, to have additional space that is critical to our ability to carry out these trials and to ensure that the people of Miami are well represented in these important studies. Thank you for your support.
Hello, my name is Terry Munoz. I'm a student at UM at the Rosenstiel School of Marine Atmospheric Science. I'm calling in regard to agenda item RE7. I would just like to say that, as many of you know, nutrient pollution from septic tanks is quite dangerous for our communities. It can add nitrogen phosphorus to our waterways, leading to degraded water quality conditions. Septic tanks cannot be a part of South Florida anymore. We really need to change to a more sewage-based system. In fact, there are over 100,000 tanks that are already compromised, but at least 50 of them are being compromised in Miami-Dade County. I asked this commission to prioritize septic tank sewer conservation for these properties. I would also like to address agenda item number SR1. As many may also know, Biscayne Bay is impacted by many non-porous pollution, for stormwater runoff, stormwater from construction sites. So I agree with this ordinance that to increase the city of Miami's response solutions stemming from construction sites. I'm in favor of this action and encourage the city to take further steps to address stormwater pollution. The city of Miami should conduct routine inspection of portable locations with stormwater permits and increase compliance with those permits. Thank you for your time and your leadership for protecting water quality. Goodbye.
Hi, my name is Alexandria Blake, and I live off of 20th Road in Miami. I'm calling in relation to agenda item RE7. As I am a resident in the city of Miami, the pollution that results from septic tanks is a big concern of mine. The excess nitrogen and phosphorus can lead to many issues in the water, including the death of much variety of wildlife. The chemicals cause the oxygen levels to be reduced, and it results in the animals unable to breathe. Along with the animals, the septic tank spillage causes issues for humans as well. And I think that it needs to be an important issue for these impacts to be reduced. I am calling today asking for the commission to prioritize the conversion of septic to sewer. This is so the spilling situations are taken care of and less pollution will be found in the environment. If action is not taken soon, who knows what may result of the wildlife that surrounds where we are living. I feel like it's very important for us to think about our impacts on our surrounding areas. As a marine conservation student as well, then this is really close to my heart. And I think that if we don't try and keep the wildlife thriving, then it will be detrimental to us later. Thank you. Hello, my name is Alexandria Blake. I live off of 20th Road in Miami, and I am calling in relation to agenda item RE7. As I am a resident of the city of Miami, the pollution that results from septic tanks is a concern of mine. The excess nitrogen and phosphorus can lead to many issues in the water, including death of much variety of wildlife. The chemicals cause the oxygen levels to be reduced, and the wildlife that lives in the waterways are unable to survive from this change. Along with the animals, the septic causes issues for human health as well. And I think we can reduce the impact of these problems if we take action soon, because I feel it's very important. So today I'm asking for the commission to prioritize the concept of septic to sewer. I think it's very important we go ahead and make this
Hello, my name is Paul Ketchum, and we are owners of the property located at 800 Northwest 14th Street, which is next to the Highland Park. I'm calling about items PEC number 7 and PEC number 8 to say that we are in full support of the rezoning of the neighborhood from T68L to T680. Highland Park is well served by mass transit options, specifically the underutilized Colmer Station, and the proposed rezoning will allow the development of mixed-use projects, including medical office, for the benefit of the community. So we are in full support of the rezoning of Highland Park. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Will Sowers. I'm the general manager for Wheels Labs. I'm a resident of District 3, right here in Miami, residing at 145 Southwest 13th Street. I'm here today to express my support for Resolution 7871 and ask you to extend the motorized scooter pilot program. This extension is important to me both personally and professionally. My spouse does not drive, and we are a single-car household. Shared e-scooters provide families like mine with another option to run errands access essential services, and enjoy Miami's world-class parks and restaurants. Professionally, I've managed Wheels Labs' local scooter operations since March. We are part of the second phase of operators, launching in Miami in November 2019 with the unique seated e-scooter. We observed tremendous success despite our cap of 156 devices. Our device's seated design, 14-inch wheels, and lower center of gravity provided the city with a safer, more accessible way to go to work or run errands. Since pausing operations in Miami due to COVID-19, we enhanced our device by adding self-cleaning handlebars. We brought our team in-house, hiring supervisors, field technicians, and mechanics as W-2 employees, and providing each of them with ownership of the company. We remain committed to being a good neighbor here in Miami, responding quickly to citizen complaints, collaborating on rider safety, and locally recruiting for our workforce. I ask you to support restarting the pilot program and extending it until a permanent program is adopted. I appreciate your fair and thoughtful consideration of this issue. I'm happy to work further with you and your offices to discuss any questions or concerns. On behalf of Wheels, thank you for the opportunity to partner with Miami.
This is John Snyder. I live at 3980 Hardy Avenue, and I'm calling in regard to SR7, an ordinance to end the tolling and suspension of applicable deadlines. I have attempted to view documents associated with an intended decision to remove over 99 trees on a property in my neighborhood. I have been in touch with the appropriate authorities on several occasions. I'm not able to come down to the city center and view the documents, which include the tree survey, the identification of the trees that are to be cut, and the location of the building to be constructed on the property. I have requested that these be sent via email and have been told that they cannot be accommodated. They can't send them to me so that I can view them prior to the permit to cut these trees. And it's a sizable number of trees on an important lot in my neighborhood. I would like to see the plans that are required before the permit is issued. And at present, I cannot do that. So I don't think that the tolling on this should be begin to count until I can see these documents. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and Commission. I would like to thank you for letting me speak on this topic. My name is Sydney Genghis. My address is 2263 Southwest 37th Avenue in Coral Gables. The agenda item I will be speaking on is RE7. I just thought it would be an important note to make that nutrient pollution from septic tanks does add added nutrients to the waterways, like nitrogen and phosphorus, that eventually would lead to worse water quality conditions. And I am a student in Erasmus University studying marine conservation. So this topic is very important to me as to my fellow students because it does impact our studies. So I just thought that was an important note. But thank you so much for letting me speak today, and have a good one.
Alana Greer, Community Justice Project, 3000 Biscayne Boulevard. I'm here to comment today on item PH3 regarding the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. I support the raise in the cap to ensure that the mounting rental debt that so many City of Miami residents are facing can be more appropriately met by this program. And I want to applaud the City of Miami as one of the first programs to address emergency rental assistance in the state. And I want to ask the Commission and the City of Miami to continue in that leadership role. Unfortunately, what we have not seen in Florida is leadership on ensuring that these programs stop evictions and not just put out money without consequence. And so there's a number of models. In Washington State, they used a similar program and to ensure that landlords commit not to terminating the tenancy unless there's good cause, not to raise rent, and not to issue late fees during this time. Right here in Orange County, we've seen programs that are specifically tailored to eviction prevention and ensure there's an agreement in place that goes beyond just the payment of specific debt, but ensures longer term prevention of evictions. There's been over 3,000 evictions filed in Miami-Dade County since the start of this pandemic. We're back to the same rates we were before the crisis started as far as filings go, and it's really vital that we make sure that we're solving those cases through this program. So thank you for your leadership, and I do hope you continue, and would also like to offer my support for the community comments on RE4 about directly impacted community members being at the table and the importance of disbanding the Miami 21 Task Force as currently formulated. Thank you very much.
My name is Nathaniel Parker. My address is 6225 Southwest 123rd Terrace, Miami, Florida 33156. I would like to comment on agenda item RE7. We know that improper filtering of wastewater leads to contamination of our aquifers and in turn our drinking water. Likewise, this overwhelming of the septic systems can cause wastewater to accumulate on the ground where heavy rains can carry this water into rivers or drains, and this can exacerbate the already damaging algal blooms. We support this resolution calling for state and federal funding, but we cannot delay the City of Miami's investment in this infrastructure. We ask this commission to prioritize septic to sewer conversion and to not delay this investment in infrastructure before the damaging effects prove to be too dangerous. Action needs to be taken by applying for grants as well as using resilience funding. This is not a matter that we should be waiting on.
Hi, my name is Lisa Gonzalez. I live at 1157 Northwest 7th Court, Miami, Florida, 33136. I am going against the zone changing in our neighborhood. I am a homeowner. My home, we built our home 21 years ago with Habitat for Humanity. I struggled as a woman that was made out of a rape, and I struggled, and I have 3 children which now are all grown. We're raised in that house and my home, our home, and they're I work at University of Miami frontline. I'm risking every day to help others and protect everyone and do whatever we can. And we're like a family in our neighborhood. We all love each other. We stick together. Our grandchildren now are being raised in our homes. And this is very stressful, coming to work and being afraid of our zone being changed and our homes being taken away from us. And that's all that we have. That's all that I've ever had. I've never was able to have anything, and that's all I have for my grandkids as they grow up. You know, we're a family there. We keep our houses very clean, up to date, and please do not change our zone. It's not fair. A lot of us are almost retiring. A lot of us are raising our grandkids there, and it's so stressful with this COVID going on. It's stressful having in our mind that our homes that we work and built, and even the Miami Dolphin players helped build my home, and to know that, you know, it's be scared that our zone gets changed and our homes get taken away from us. It's not right. We want to live in our house. We're like a family there. Please consider that. Please do not allow our zone to be changed. We all.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Melanie Chanel speaking. I do stay in 1155 Northwest 7th Court, 33136, Miami, Florida. I do have a Habitat house, and we're not ready to move at all right now. And right now we're like settled, but then we're still going through this pandemic, so we're really not ready to move. We've been staying here since 2001, and I hope you guys, understand that, and I hope you guys can, cooperate with us, because we are not ready to move at all. So thank you for advice.
Hi, my name is Emma Rimmer, and I'm a student at UMiami at Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences. I live in Coconut Grove at 3760 Bird Road and will be commenting on agenda item RE7. Miami currently has a major sewage issue. We need to make the transition from a septic to a sewer system for a variety of reasons. At least 50% of the 100,000 septic tanks are already failing in Miami-Dade County, and these failing tanks are even more of a risk for us due to our limestone substrate, our high water table, and proportionally high risk of sea level rise in the future. Failing tanks are a public health risk, and nutrient pollution can degrade water quality and expose sensitive populations to harmful contaminants. We need to take action now and pursue funding for this project instead of waiting for state funding to come. As a resident of Miami-Dade County, I ask that we invest in this infrastructure sooner than later for the sake of the health of our populations and to ensure that Miami will be resilient to rising sea levels in the future. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janet George. I reside at 1139 Northwest 7th Court. I'm calling in petition 7578 in regards to the changes of the zones. I am against the change of the zone in my area. I am a Habitat owner, and I've been here for the last 27 years. I am now getting ready to retire and also finish paying for my home. Changing the zone will affect many homeowners and will force us out of the neighborhood. With the COVID going on, we do not need to stress on saving our neighborhood. Please reconsider the matter, look into the matter and try to reconsider it. Thank you and have a blessed day. Bye.
Mi nombre es Fabián Palacios, junto aquí a mi esposa María Palacios. Nosotros éramos dueños de la propiedad 11777 Northwest y la 12 calle. Tuvimos la oportunidad de vender y compramos esta nueva propiedad. Por eso aquí ahora mismo estamos grabando eso, o estamos de acuerdo con la rezonificación de los lugares, porque nosotros somos testigos, porque fuimos beneficiados. Vendimos y nos quedó dinero para pagar otras cositas y para ayudarle a nuestra familia.
Sí, mi nombre es Maritza Rivera y soy la dueña del 1325 Northwest y la 8 Avenida. Y es para decirles que estoy de acuerdo con toda la nueva zonificación que tienen propuesta de la ciudad de Miami en esa área, y creo que esto traería mucho avance para este lugar. Les agradezco mucho que tomen en cuenta todo esto. Gracias.
Good morning, Spanish interpreter, speaker 1. My name is Fabián Palacios, here together with my wife, Maria Palacios. We were the owners of property 11777 Northwest 12th Street. We had the opportunity to sell it and we bought this new property. That's why we're here now recording this, because we agree with the rezoning of these places, because we're witnesses, since we benefited from this. We sold it and we had some money left to pay for other things and to help our family. Speaker 2, my name is Maritza Rivera and I'm the owner of 1325 Northwest 8th Avenue. And this is to tell you that I agree with all the new zoning that is proposed for the city of Miami in that area. And I think this would bring a lot of progress to this place. I would be very thankful if you can take all this into account. Thank you.
Our public comment time has come to an end, correct?
Yes, it has.
Seeing no further public comments, I'll close the public comment period. Mr. City Manager, I know you had a request for some additional continuances.
Yes, sir. I inadvertently forgot to ask that PZ1 and PZ2 be deferred to the meeting in November.
Mr. Chairman,
You recognize.
I made a mistake as well on PZ8. I had set a continuance. I had actually wanted a deferral of 2 weeks, not the full 4 weeks to the next month. That'll give it a chance to come back sooner. Would that need a reconsideration of the original order of the day, Todd, or can we just make that?
You can reconsider PZ8.
Yes. Yes.
A motion to reconsider PZ8.
Okay, and then to issue that as a deferral to the first meeting in October, rather than the continuance that I originally mentioned.
Okay, so Commissioner, take it as a motion to reconsider PZ8, seconded by the chair. All in favor of the reconsideration, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Now, before you make the,
Mr. Chair, I have a question. So PZ1 is now going to be deferred. Is that correct or continued?
we're gonna get to that. That's
Okay, okay.
Commissioner Russell, you have a motion on PZ8?
Yes, would you like it included with PZ1 and 2?
Just do PZ8.
All right, PZ8, just a deferral to the next, the first meeting in October, please.
Second.
Seconded.
Hold on. Let me see.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, now we can talk about the PZ1s and 2s. Senator, you're right.
Did you have a question, Commissioner?
Yeah. Talk to me about PZ1. You want to defer or do you want to continue?
I want to defer PZ1 and PZ2 to the meeting in November.
In November.
Correct.
The second meeting in November. We have one meeting in
We
November.
only have one meeting in November. Yeah.
When's that?
November 19th, Commissioner.
19th. Okay. Little Thanksgiving present for us. Okay.
Okay, and also I want to be considered whenever we put the motion for the continuances, continue to the next agenda, item FR2.
Okay.
So there's a motion. I want to send a motion for the deferral as stated on the record for PZ1 and PZ2 and
FR2.
So moved.
Deferral of FR2 as well.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Your motion?
So moved.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Okay, gentlemen, let's try to get some of this done. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. The chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the consent in the public hearing agenda. But I want to pull CA3, not to be a part of the original vote, because I want to talk about it just a little bit. So, is there a motion to approve the CA and the PH agenda?
CH on the PH agenda?
CA and PH, but not including CA3.
Okay, PH.
I'm sorry.
No, that's right. I'm just reading it and make sure that we don't have any question. No, that's fine.
I have a question on page 4.
Okay.
I think it's your district, Chair. Is that your district, Chair, or is that Commissioner Carroll's district?
1 second, let me get to it.
Where the Dade Heritage Trust is, PH4.
I can't hear you, Ricky.
Dade Heritage Trust,
Yes.
that item, it's where that is.
I think that's District 2.
That's District 2. Let me ask a question. This takes the 4/5. Can we include it and does
That's my question, yeah.
Although we have to address it by itself.
It is a 4/5.
There's two of them.
We can do it.
Okay.
PH4, I apologize.
PH6 also is okay. Just
The
wanted.
PH6 was reset, no?
Yes,
That's right.
PH6 was moved to the.
Was moved. So we only have one. Okay.
So PH4 has to do with the Dade Heritage Trust, and it is whether or not the commission wants to enter into this lease.
No,
by a
he's just,
4/5.
Vicky, he's just asking what district it's in.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, the reason why I'm asking what district's in, that's not the only thing I'm asking. I just want.
You want to pull this and discuss as a separate item.
Yeah, maybe, right? So I just want to know a little bit of a background on it. Okay, can we not include that one for now?
Absolutely.
Motion, Chair?
Yeah, sure, no problem. The motion has been made, so the request would be to approve the CA and the PH agendas without including,
PH4.
PH4.
CA3.
PH4, PH6.
Of course, PH1 and PH6 have been deferred, so.
Could you repeat that, Chair?
Yes, I'm requesting a motion to approve. Well, first you should know this, Commissioner. The PH1 and PH6 have been deferred.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
The motion that I'm requesting is a motion to approve the CA agenda, not including CA3, and the PH agenda, not including PH4.
So moved.
It's probably moved by the Vice Chair, seconded by the Chair. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Okay.
Out of that again, PH4 was taken out?
Correct.
That's right.
Correct. Would you like to address PH4 now? Because I know everyone's talking about that. We can talk about it now. So I recognize PH4. Is there any discussion on PH4?
There is.
There is, yeah, well.
We recognize Senator, and then,
Even though this is a small lot, I'm told.
Okay, let him go, let him go. Let the commissioner go, because
I didn't think much more this morning, Chair. I apologize.
Okay, go ahead. You're right. You look like George Bush right now. I don't know. Does anyone
What's that?
Yeah.
You look like George Bush a bit.
Do I?
Yeah.
They heard you, right?
Everybody has like a different look, but I wasn't gonna say anything, but Commissioner Russell has a really nice haircut.
Well, I was trying to.
I like the haircut.
I just found a comb. It's not really a cut.
I was trying to bond with Russell. Let my hair grow like he had it before, but.
And I was trying to cut mine short like you.
Well, see, we're getting there. We're getting in the middle. But I was saying that this is a small lot, 6,000 square feet. However, it's in a very, very, very expensive area, Brickell. Now, while we certainly would like to see this house be preserved, I don't know if this is necessarily the place to leave it at, where the city in particular, in the times that we're living in, could get a sizable amount of payments for that property if we put it for sale. So I'm not in favor of giving this out for 90 years at $600 a year for the whole 90 years. I mean, this is absurd. This house could be placed in so many other areas where it wouldn't cost nearly as much to move as what we could get for this property. The fact that this might have gone to a referendum doesn't mean that we have to give it away. So my position is inclined to go with putting this out for a referendum in the next election that we have, so that we can sell the property and find another place where we could move this historical house.
Mr. Chairman?
Well, I'm sorry. Is the senator was next, then you, Vice Chairman.
I think Commissioner Russell, let's let him go ahead, Mr. Chair, because it's his district, and see what he thinks, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, you recommend.
Thank you. I think there's two separate issues here. One is whether or not we want the Data Heritage Trust to be the caretaker of that house. And then the other issue is what Commissioner Carrillo brought up, is what's the best use for that property. It is modular. It is a wooden house. It's elevated. If it's possible to move, it hasn't been analyzed, but I don't know. My question would be probably to legal and or real estate asset management as to whether or not this lease, this contract, could flow with the house if it were to be moved rather than stuck with the property. That would just find some flexibility within it. If it has to stay where it is, I'm very happy supporting Data Heritage Trust, and I think that it's a very special building and location and everything for them. So I'm okay with it as it is, but I hear where you're coming from, Commissioner Carrillo, and I'm open to discussing it for sure.
Mr. Chairman, Senator, well, you have anything? You were in order?
I agree with Commissioner Carollo.
Yes.
I think the highest and best use. Look, and the reason why I agree is because I'm looking at anything that we can do to generate revenue for our city. I think we're going to be facing some real difficult times. We all know we're going to be facing real difficult times in the coming years. And to me, that's not the highest and best use of that property. And so if we can generate revenue for our city, I think we should do it. I respect the commissioner, the district commissioner, for what he thinks of that, of what we should be doing there. But if he's open to it, then I'm supporting Commissioner Carollo on this, and then maybe we can just get it done and move that place somewhere else, the trust somewhere else.
Through the chair, Mr. Carrillo, you must remember that this is not the first time that we have moved historical houses to a different place. Remember when we moved Miami Senior High bungalow, it was moved in order for us to use the land that it was at. And if this is we should find the best use for this land, and if it is better to sell it or to lease it, and what would be the best return that the city is going to have in it. And I agree with you. If we find that it is possible, and we are going to get a substantial, we're going to get some revenues, particularly as Commissioner Diaz-de-la-Portilla said. But the problem, economic problem that we're going to be facing probably for the next 2 years. Then we will have to take every single action in order to increase our revenues. And I agree with you, and I support your suggestion.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair, can I speak?
Yes.
Got made up for the other time. There are a couple of places that we could potentially look at placing it. One is behind Simpson Park, next to the Underline. We have a big area there that it could possibly go. The other is next to the house that we have already in Southside Park. There are other areas. Yes. You have those two that are fairly near to the property in question. So finding a location, I don't think will be difficult. But what I'd like to ask the city attorney to advise us, based upon what you've heard from a majority of the commission, to advise us the best way to proceed.
I wanted to clarify, because I believe this was a question from the vice chairman. It is solely within your discretion, 4/5 of this commission, to decide if you want to enter into this lease and if you want to waive competitive bidding. So this is a permissive charter rewrite. So you're able to.
Madam City Attorney, can you speak louder? Your voice.
I can't hear you.
For some reason, from the very beginning, your audio has been very low.
My audio's low. Okay, can you hear? I'm gonna get closer for now. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, better.
Okay. This is a permissive charter rewrite. So this is similar to Freedom Park, and you're able to decide whether or not you want to enter into this lease. So if this commission does not decide by a 4/5 vote to waive competitive bidding and execute the lease, you do not have to. So that's I'm just giving you the easy part, which is you decide what you would like to do with this item.
But the thing about this site is that what could it be used for? I mean, such a slender parcel of land, 6,000 square feet. And I'm trying to see what is, I can't tell if that's northeast, south, or west, but what is on the opposite side
Chair,
of the street. Yes.
we can go up to 48 stories in that piece of land. Obviously, because it's small, 6,000 square feet, it's not practical in going 48 stories, but you could still go numerous stories high. So the land, in particular where it's at, it's worth quite a bit. If it was a larger parcel, it'd be worth even more. But just with the size that it has, being where it's at, and even if you're limited to a much smaller amount of stories that you could build, that's a very expensive piece of property.
I believe it. I mean, they assessed it at 1.2, market value $1.3 million. So.
Well, you can't go by what the county puts down. I don't know if that's what you're looking at or that someone else give us that.
I'm looking at that, yeah. I know
the county
it doesn't have comps, but I'm just looking at their baseline, which means that it could be more than that. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I'll bet you that that would bring maybe 5 times that. That's expensive for that property.
Yeah,
I just don't know what vertical development is possible there.
Yeah. Well,
but what is it next to the? Not there's a building that it abuts, but then next to it there's something, and then there's a street. What is that something? Because that's not being captured within like a property lines. What's directly?
It's like a parking lot, right?
Because whatever it is, I mean, you can't.
What are you looking at, Chairman?
From a property appraiser site, you can't even click on that.
Looking at the picture to the left, Chair, is what you're looking at on 13th Street?
So what I did was I looked up 120 Southeast 12th Terrace on the property appraiser's website, clicked it. Of course, you can see the bird's eye view. And
I got that.
And if you're looking at the picture to the right, there's something, I can see trees, but whatever it is, it doesn't allow me to actually, it doesn't acknowledge it as if it was a property with an owner. So I can't even click on it. I just want to know if anyone knew it.
Are you looking at the county site or the city site?
I was looking at the county site.
Take a look at the city site. It's got the folios pretty well delineated, and you can see our ownership of 190 Southeast 12th Terrace. Right next to that is a pair of thin strips that are owned by, looks like Cecilia Zurita. I don't know what use that property has.
If you look at it, you're talking about to the left, right, of the picture. I guess it's to the left, right? So be to the north, right? It's like a 2-story building, a 3-story building there, right?
So I was looking at something that it doesn't appear that there's a building. Maybe it is. I don't know. What I'm looking at, it doesn't appear there's a building.
You're talking to the south, Chairman?
From, on this map, it doesn't really say it was south or north.
North.
But what is next to that, what is next to the land that I'm describing, is the road. There's a road.
Brickell Bay Drive.
Okay, that's Brickell Bay Drive?
The one that goes across the frontage of the historic structure is Brickell Bay Drive.
Okay, so then you see where Brickell Bay Drive then would intersect with whatever road that is.
Southeast 13th Street.
Okay,
13th Street on the south, 12th Street on the north.
Correct. And
Or
so
12th Terrace.
that corner of 13th Street and Brickell Bay Drive, that corner, what's that?
Tell me what this is. This is the best way to do it. Wait.
Yeah.
So, okay, right here.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. What is that?
That's their right of way. That's just that's the sidewalk with palm trees and things like that on it. Landscape.
Okay, it's not captured here on the, like, if you try to click on that, it doesn't show who's the owner. It doesn't show anything. So
yeah, that's just right of way. Theoretically, it could be replatted to be expanded at least closer to the street. Theoretically, I don't know that for sure.
So I bring that up to say that if that may make the site that much more valuable, Commissioner Carollo, if the city, for instance, if we're the ones that own that, or if it's, you know, I just think it can use a bit more research to figure out what that is and how it's being used, and its potential at the site. But I mean, I think everyone has kind of expressed themselves, and so how is it that we want to handle this?
So I would like to do an analysis of the property from real estate asset management's perspective to get a true appraisal on what it's worth, with the flexibility, as you mentioned, if it were to be replatted in a slightly larger footprint, if that's possible. Analyze what the vertical construction potential is there to see what it's even worth at all. If it's not worth the value of moving it, then I wouldn't do it. But if it is, if Commissioner Carrillo is right and it's worth upwards of $5 million, whoever we lease or sell it to, it would be on their shoulders to take up the expense of moving the historic structure at their dime. But it's incredibly important that we continue to keep Data Heritage Trust tied to that structure. So we should consult with them if there's a location that's very suitable from a historic preservation perspective of where that should go, preferably on city property, preferably accessible to them in a way that serves their needs. Because the original purpose of this referendum and this lease was to make sure they have a long-term home at a not significant cost, so they can continue to service the city and the county with what they do. So those are my priorities, but I do completely understand the potential to look at this from a financial perspective and what's possible. So I'm open to that. Where that leaves us on this particular item would probably either be a deferral for further research from DREAM, HEP Board, and the DHT themselves, and then we could reassess it at that point. I just worried if we make a decision right now, we're not taking something into account that we probably should be.
I agree. That's the to the chair. That is I think that's the proper way to go in about it. And let's find out how much we can get for it. And also, I was while I was listening to the description of the area, I think that there are other city-owned property that is next to it, and I don't know if we can increase the size of the lot of the potentials that lot has, and find, as my fellow commissioners have stated, the best use for them. See how the city of Miami is going to be increase its benefits by going the other way instead of leasing it to the Heritage Trust. I believe that we should keep the trust tied to the little building. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But what we Commissioner Carollo, what he proposes is very clear. I mean, we are not divorcing them one from the other, doing away with the trust because we are moving the building or the house. I mean, what we are finding is a place that we can move that structure to, and they can operate from that place that is going to be moved to. You see, I mean, that's all it is. We have done it before, and we could do it again.
That's fair.
Recognize.
That's very true, Commissioner. However, the county has expressed itself that he wants to be the 800-pound gorilla in many other areas, and particularly when it comes to taking tens and tens of millions of our dollars from CARE. So they should step in here and be the 800-pound gorilla and put up the money to move this house somewhere else. We'll, I think, be able to identify some city properties that it could go to, but if they have some of their own property that they want to move it to, I would have no problems with it. If you want to leave the Heritage Trust with this property, that's fine with me also. But, you know, the city of Miami is not the only area of greater Miami-Dade County that has historical properties. So the county should come and be the one responsible for the expenses of moving this house from wherever it's going to go to. Last but not least, in as far as an appraisal, you know, I don't know if Dream would be the ideal agency to give you a real good appraisal versus other areas. I don't want to spend any money on this. I don't think any one of us doing an appraisal. The facts are that the ultimate appraisal is when you put it out in the market. And certainly, I think we all will agree that that's an expensive property, no matter what amount it would come back to. So my motion, if it's appropriate, Madam City Attorney, and this could end up being an area where some might have disagreements with us. So I would appreciate it if you guide us in the wording that we should use. But basically what I want to do is place the motion that we will not go forward in awarding this as such, and that we want to find another location for the house to be placed in. We will be willing to look at some of our locations. If the county has some of theirs, it's fine. And that we would gladly give it to the Heritage Trust to take care at their expense. And of course, the county can help them with it.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Right. I know that.
Can't hear you.
Oh, Vicky, speak. Go ahead, Vicky. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Oh.
And Commissioner Carollo, until she gets her. Try now, Vicky. No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. So, Commissioner Carollo, I know that Commissioner Russell was talking about it before, right? And analyzing the site and things of that nature. And all of these things, what you're saying and what he's saying, pretty much they're in agreement. So can we simplify it a bit by asking for the deferral and then working on everything else in the meantime?
Well, look, I won't have any problem for a deferral if that's what a majority of this commission wants. But what I don't want is then the game plan that the Heritage Trust then starts trying to put the full court press on some of us.
I don't think they'll have the votes. They need 4/5 of the votes to make that happen. So, you know, I think that this is one of those things where it behooves of us to think alike and try to move this thing forward in a way that's productive, not only for the city of Miami with potential sale of lease of their land, but also for the Day Heritage Trust, the preservation of that structure, and being placed in a place that is conducive for their mission.
Mr. Harlan, yes. I just want to know what will could solve that. I mean, I think it is the opinion of the majority that we have to use that land. I mean, we should use that land to the benefit of the city of Miami, and that the house should be moved to another place, and we can use that land that they're going to leave behind which we're going to sell it or we are going to lease it. And the fastest we get it, the better off that we're going to be. See? So, and if you want to go with a deferral, okay, but I don't think it's going to solve anything. It's my opinion.
I think it'll give us some answers we don't have now. It'll give us a sense of what is possible to be built. Planning and zoning can tell us what the capacity with setbacks and height restriction and everything. It'll give us some answers we don't have today, and it'll also give us a chance to learn a little bit more about the house, the property, what's important about the house versus the property. If the whole historic side of this is just the house itself, I'm not opposed to moving it. And if the land is of good value to us, I'm not opposed to moving it. But if all of that doesn't work out, and we've actually made a resolution right now to undo what we're doing in the moment, we won't be able to come back to it as easily. So I'd rather just put pause for a second and just study it. Dade Heritage Trust, they're a tenant. They recognize this is a City of Miami land and City of Miami property. They have invested in the property. They have maintained it. They have repaired it. They have been a good steward of it. So I would at least, I'll at least talk to them to understand, what serves them in terms of a location. Maybe they don't need to be in Brickell at all. I don't know. So I would just ask for a deferral. I agree with the chairman. I'm not opposed to what Commissioner Coro is proposing at all. I would just say, let's take a quick breath and get the facts before us before we actually dispense with everything that's been done so far on this item.
So, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, you're recognized.
Yeah. How long is that breath?
I'm good with 2 weeks. If Dream can get us some answers and planning and zoning can get us some answers in 2 weeks, I think that's fine.
I don't know.
The reference to the city commissioner is the area.
I don't know if they do that. I'll go along with a little bit more time than that, right?
Mr. Manager, could you help us out here? Do you need a full month to do a quick assessment on this property? It shouldn't be too hard.
Not for what you're asking for, no.
So again, how long is the breath? I just get
to the next
maybe
meeting.
I woke up, Mr. Chair, if I may, maybe I woke up and I think the word that Commissioner Reyes used was frustrated, but maybe that's the wrong word. I just and some of the city attorney said antsy, and I don't know exactly how I woke up, but I want to make sure that things happen in the city. So to me, everything has to be a delay, and we'll talk about it, we'll debate it, we'll come back, we'll defer it, and then 6 months later, and we don't have that luxury anymore because we're in an economic crisis, and we have to reopen our city. We have to have people need jobs, and people income needs to flow throughout our city. So anything that our revenue generators have to happen. So why is everything always a conversation about let's take a breath, let's talk about it, we'll figure it out next year? Why can't things just happen quicker in the city of Miami?
Well, Commissioner, if the manager can get us the answers we need this afternoon.
I'm not asking you, Commissioner Russell. No, I'm asking the manager. Why is it you can't do it in 2 weeks, manager?
I just said. Why does it take so long? I just said that's Commissioner. I said that's fine. We can absolutely do it for the October 18th. Yeah,
okay,
that's what I said.
A month. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No.
I think we take one of our 4,500 employees in the city of Miami, and I'm sure you can put enough of them together, and they can give us quick answers to things, right?
I am absolutely certain we can get you an answer as fast as you want it.
As far as we all want it, I think, because we're all in the same boat, right?
I meant you in the plural sense.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to defer the item to the first meeting in October. Please.
Chair, my apologies. There was a motion on the floor by Commissioner Carollo.
I apologize, Commissioner.
Well, I'm confused. Does that mean that we're going to vote to recommend that the nomination for Ginsburg's placement is before or after the election?
I would love to have a Cuban American Supreme Court justice.
Oh, so do I. So do I. She has my vote.
Well, but you haven't said before or after the election.
Before the election.
Everything's before the election, Commissioner.
So no, there's no motion on the floor by Commissioner.
No, there was no motion.
All right. In that case, I'll move for a deferral of 2 weeks, please.
First meeting in October, right?
Correct.
Sure. Okay.
Properly moved, second chair, all in favor, say aye.
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 I relogged on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 Great. Thank you.
You're probably too loud now, so you
No,
Turn it down a little bit.
turn it down.
No, now you're really gonna hear me.
Turn it down now, right?
Okay.
I was going to say that you are kind of loud now.
The item that we passed, or we skipped rather, was CA3. I just had a question about that. Obviously, I mean, I haven't had any concern from any police officer or any organizations like FOP or anyone like that. But it brings to mind in the past where there was always a concern about how these tests are conducted and the biases, et cetera, that are that could happen in these tests. And so now here we are, we're assigning this to someone else, and I don't have much information about who it's being assigned to. And so I was just bringing this up for everyone to consider. Is this something that we want to hear more about the persons or the organization that this has been assigned to, rather than just moving forward with the assignment? Because we don't have any, I don't know, I mean, of course we know about the other organization, but this organization we don't have any knowledge of. And so especially, during this time of what's happening nationally, I'm concerned about, attracting talented law enforcement officers and having those officers who shouldn't be on the force, if we could eliminate them before they get on the force, that would be the best thing. And this test and how they do all this, that was so. My question to summarize is: do we need to know more about this organization? And if we do, can we get that information rather quickly so that we can address this maybe at our next commission? That's really my concern.
Mr. Chair, I was just going to ask that. And what do we know about this company? What do we know about this company? Because historically, past, we had problems. Company that have done testing for us and have done evaluations. So I want to know. I mean, what is the qualifications of this company to be the one that we want to take to conduct all those evaluations. I would like to know more about this company.
Mr. Chair, if you'd like, certainly would encourage maybe Deputy Chief Papier, who's standing in on the meeting, to maybe address some of your questions.
If he wants to come on to address some questions, it's fine. But what we're saying is that there's more information that we want to know, and maybe provide that information to us so that we can digest it a bit, and then maybe at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever your preference. Whatever your
track record and everything, and previous. Who their clients have been, and what is how capable are them doing this? We need some proof.
Because I think
I think we should vet them a little bit more.
Yeah, all of these decisions I think will make a big difference in whether or not the city of Miami is on the headline news of some national news station because of something. These are all the little stuff that matter. So I just want to make sure that we're taking the right stuff. Because if not, then the city will have to change direction, right? We'll choose to do something different.
That happened before.
Yeah, but that's all. It's not necessarily a cause for alarm, but just I would like to see more information from Mr. Reyes so that we could make a smart decision. And that decision could be to move forward with exactly what's on this agenda, but at least we'll be better informed. So with that, Commissioner Reyes, would you like to? Well, we know. So we've told the manager. So I guess the manager, you'll get us the information that we're looking for, and then this will be continued to the next.
I move it.
About the chair, seeing no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against?
Chair,
Motion recognized.
is that all the PHs that were left?
The PHs are complete, yes.
That's right.
Okay, can I bring up PH 5? I know we voted on it, but I just want to be able to bring up PH 5, just to discuss something real quickly.
Okay, you recognize.
With the commissioner from District 1. Commissioner, how many units are we talking about in PH 5?
I don't know. I think the preliminary conversations I had with our city manager, I believe, correct me, manager, I'm wrong, was 220, something like that, right? But that's what the
It was
outside.
more than that.
Well,
Mr. Manager, how many?
Well, not by a matter of right. I think by a matter of what they want to do there.
Correct.
So it's not what they can do; it's what they want to do. So I had a very preliminary conversation, and it's a good area because we have as you know, we have all that parking lot. We have the library.
Yeah.
We have maybe have a redevelopment, possibly an opportunity maybe to address some of that 17th Avenue frontage there.
I agree in that aspect, but
I don't know. I mean, it was a preliminary conversation. It wasn't about the details, but I knew that I didn't want something. And remember, on the other side there, on the 18th Avenue side, we already have Buena Vista affordable housing building there. So it's kind of like it's congruent, right? It's something that will be next to it that actually fits that mold of affordable housing that's needed. But I'm not wed to that idea. It's not something that I've made.
Here is what I wanted to present to you, and I'm sorry that I'm doing it after the fact instead of before. I like the idea of building here. I think it's an appropriate place. We own the land. But what I'm not so sure about is this failed policy that we've been going through, that we give our monies by the tens of millions to developers. In this case, we're not giving actual cash, but we're giving property that's worth actual cash. And the promise is, oh, we're going to then be able to do affordable housing for you. Well, the affordable housing that all these places have built so far, it's not affordable for the people that live in the city of Miami. What we're doing is creating housing for transplants that come from another part of the state, the country, or another part of Miami-Dade County. So here's what I'd like to bring up to you for food for thought here today. And for that matter, for the rest of the commission, because there are areas that we have in all of our districts that would fit this size shoe. And that is, instead of giving this land to any organization to develop, we develop it ourselves by contracting with a developer that I will tell you we could get this built for no more than $125 and probably below $125 a square foot. Then we add into that the cost of land, what we think the land should be worth. And instead of rentals, we do the plan that I've been talking about. And the mayor's familiar with a lot of the details. We're moving forward in my district now to accomplish this, working with the manager. What have we built there? And at the end, within 2 years, when it's built, people are going to be able to own their own condominium, their own property. You're going to get $4 plus $5 million back that you then could reinvest in the same thing or whatever you need for housing in your district.
Mr. Chair. First of all, Mr. Chair, if I may, through you, I agree with you about the let's call them cultural appropriators, right? the outsiders that come to our community and try to tell us how to live and what to do and all these things. I agree with all that. A lot of this has to be homegrown things, right? And that's why we have the October 15th meeting, because I'm trying to accelerate the conversation. Because when I was campaigning and you were helping me, we were able to have those conversations about affordable housing. You were the leader and the commissioner who told me, hey, this is my idea, this is how we do it. After I was elected, I spoke to the mayor, and I know you and the mayor share the same ideas about how we move these affordable and attainable housing projects forward. It just so happens that in the district that I now represent, we have right down the 17th Avenue corridor, we have the Pearl, we have Buena Vista, we have a whole bunch of YMCA 1 and 2. So we have a number of affordable housing units for seniors in particular, which is a very important part of what I campaigned on and I'm trying to govern on to help those people. We all want to create affordable housing. Your vision that you shared with me during that campaign cycle and the mayor's vision that I shared with him after I was elected are very similar. And the conversation that I had with Commissioner Ray is I haven't had that many conversations with Commissioner Russell about it because, we can't. But in the moment that because he wasn't helping me during my campaign, so I couldn't talk to him too much. But that's okay. But we had conversations with other people, and to get to the point that we want to work together to come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan that works with everybody. The approval of this particular item was kind of to move something forward, It doesn't mean that I'm married to that concept. It doesn't mean that that's what we're going to do there. It just means that it's a first step in moving something in that direction. You're right. We shouldn't be giving land away to developers unless we get something in return for the city that makes sense, unless we have a comprehensive plan that works for the whole city, for all our residents. I agree with all that. And that's why that October 15th special meeting maybe is a first step in that direction, saying what does Commissioner Reyes want? What does Commissioner Carollo want? What does Mayor Francis Suarez want? And what does Commissioner Harden, before he leaves, what does he want for his very unique community that he understands that I don't understand, and I understand that I don't understand it, right? Everybody represents different areas of Miami, and we're a very diverse community, and it's a good idea. It's a good idea to get everybody's perspective on how we're going to move our city forward. And the most important issue that we face right now, which is affordable and attainable housing. Of course, Commissioner Russell represents a very wealthy area of Miami, so he doesn't have the same need and geographic need that we have. But as a city, people need to live somewhere. They can't live in Coconut Grove. They can't live on oceanfront property on Biscayne Boulevard or on Brickell, but they can live in our neighborhoods. And we have to make it easy for them to afford it. And that's kind of my idea of how we move these things in a fast way. And that's why this item was brought up. And that's why I had the conversation with our city manager to say, hey, how do we move this project forward in an area that needs help? This is Little Santo Domingo, as it's called.
That's right.
An area that needs help. And needs,
that's right.
A lot of help and a lot of resources dedicated to it. It's part of the area that I want to include in the expansion of the Omni CRA. If we get there, I don't know we're going to get there, but we're going to try to get there. How do we revitalize these poor neighborhoods and make Miami accessible and affordable for all Miamians, and not only the skyline that we see when we watch a football game? And that's kind of my debate. How do we take some of that wealth, and not to be too much of a liberal about it, but how we redistribute? Excuse me, Commissioner Russell. How do we redistribute some of the wealth? In some of these areas. I don't want to sound like a Democrat.
You're concerning me, Commissioner. Now you're concerning me.
Listen,
like that guy, Elisar.
I caught myself in the process of saying it, so I caught myself.
Through the chair. Through the
But
chair.
I do know, look, when Commissioner Carollo, I'll finish now very quickly. Commissioner Carollo, Commissioner Reyes, we've all walked our neighborhoods. We've seen the amount of poverty, and Commissioner Harden, we've seen the amount of poverty in the city of Miami. And people who are older, who live alone, and people who should not be living in those conditions in a first world country. You know what I mean? And you think some of these places appear to be third world places. And we got to invest in these people and invest in these communities. And so to that these dollars and these beautiful condos that you see in downtown Miami and on Brickell Avenue, somehow some of that money has to go over there too to help those people. And we have to stop talking about it have a meeting about it, have a real conversation about it in the sunshine, so that everybody can say, this is my idea. Commissioner Carollo, you have great ideas. The home ownership is a fantastic idea. Micro units is a good idea. Multiple bedrooms and bigger homes for families to be able to live is Commissioner Hardeman's idea, Chairman Hardeman's idea. It's a great idea for the respective communities. So all these ideas put together with the money that Miami Forever gives us and other dollars that we can now generate with revenue generated, that makes sense for Miami. It makes sense for the legacy that we're all going to leave once we leave office. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to come here. I'm getting old, not as old as Commissioner Reyes and not as old as Commissioner Arroyo, but I'm getting old, and I kind of want to have a legacy, right? I want to leave something here.
Well,
don't ask me for space in Shangri-La.
Through the chair.
Close.
Let me tell you this, Commissioner, that's what I could be. Alex, that is why I'm frustrated, because I'm old, and I want to see some of those projects get to fruition. I want them to be built. And since the first date, and we've been talking about this, and we even, I remember Commissioner Carollo, that we even directed the former city manager to have a housing agency, to form a housing agency in order to build affordable housing. But my complaint has been, and you all have heard me, that affordable has to mean affordable. Affordable has to be affordable. And in order to be affordable, it has to be according to the guidelines, the HUD guidelines, that they cannot be higher, the rent higher than 30% of their income. And we have to comply with that. Also, I know that there are different levels of income, but we have to make it affordable, particularly to the people that they are low-income people. And I agree with you, Commissioner Carollo, and I know that, Alex, you have the same idea, and I have talked to Commissioner Hardeman, that the most important part of it is home ownership. It has been tried before, and I remember when I was working with Herb Bailey back in the 80s, that we started home ownership down in Coconut Grove, and you still can see those beautiful houses on US 1. Those were 5 or 6 houses that were built there, and it was offered. The program stopped, but we have to start home ownership, because that is the difference. That difference on having a well-kept neighborhood and a neighborhood that people they don't care what's going on. And that's why, as Commissioner Alex said, this meeting is very important. And it might take a long time for us to get together and agree. And I'm going to throw I'm going to throw an idea now, that we have to also determine the needs. Which districts need more? It's more need of having affordable housing for the residents, not for the people that lives in Broward or some other place. All residents, people that want to live in the city of Miami and have been living in the city of Miami for a long time. How can we offer them decent housing at affordable prices? And that is something that I would like to bring to that meeting. And the needs of Liberty City and Alapata and Little Havana is not the same need that we have in Silver Bluff or the operates. Commissioner Rosewood. I have need also. I have pockets of poverty, lots of pockets of poverty too. But we need to make sure that, according to need, we're going to provide affordable housing, but real affordable. That really it is in line with the earnings of the people that are in those neighborhoods. And that has been my, and you know that, Commissioner Carollo and Commissioner Hardeman, that has been my problem all the time, and has been my message since day one.
And Commissioner Reyes, and we completely agree with you. But that's why with the in relation to $100 million, why it was broken up believe in, and I always forget the title of it, but I don't know if it was CDBG or it was one of those types of guidelines. So each of us will have a pot that was based upon need, where we'll be able to make decisions for our community. And what I appreciate about this board is that we've been supportive of each other in making those decisions, because I want to see everyone in every district succeed. You know, the gentlemen that are here, I know that each of you care greatly about your communities. Even Commissioner Russell has areas within his district that have great need, and he'll have the resources to create change through this bond initiative. So we have everything that we need, but like the senator said, we need to make it happen.
Well, let's get moving. Let's get moving. I mean, that's when I said frustrated. Commissioners, the other I meant the slow pace in which we move. You see, and I'm frustrated because I used to work at the private sector, and the private sector you just move. But given all the constraints that we have, legal constraints, and I mean departments that they don't move as fast as they could. Every single project takes a long time. Even if you are going to lay a speed home on the street, it takes almost a year or more than that, you see. And that's frustration. And part of the frustration is that we are not, I mean, we pass the bond issue, we pass it, and we have housing money. I mean, I don't know how many millions we have, and we haven't built a single unit. You see, that's something that I mean, it frustrates people. Frustrate me, because I want to, as you will state it, I'm old, man, and when I don't know if I'm going to be here all this.
I meant it in a nice way, Commissioner. I meant
hey, listen, it's what point will take.
With age, wisdom.
I don't take it. I know. You see, before you came here, the first time that I got here, you know, Commissioner Russell was very, very much into declaring everything historic, and I was afraid he was going to declare me historic too.
Oh yeah. Yes,
but
it's not too late for that. It's not too late for that.
If you make the motion, I know he would second it. but I'm really glad that we are in the same wavelength, that we want to start moving. We have the money. Let's spend. Let's work it. There are people there in dire need of housing. Let's do it, and let's do it the right way. And that idea of this workshop on the 15th is fantastic. Which I mean, great ideas are going to come out of that. I hope.
Okay, so now let's try to. Okay, right now we're on what would typically be our lunch break, right? After noon. We know that we have our budget hearing at 5, and then we also have some PZ stuff. So do you guys want to just go ahead and take the break now?
Yes.
And then come back at 3.
Yes.
Normally come back at 2, but because this is going to be a longer night, maybe come back at yes, Senator, you recognize?
We have I'm sorry, Chair. We have a CRA meeting. We got four items that we want to pass.
Okay.
And I have a little surprise for Commissioner Carollo, a little pocket item I have. So I'm gonna make Commissioner Carollo very happy today. I think you know. So we can do a CRA meeting whenever you pick the time you want to do it at. It won't be long.
So what we can do?
Could we do the RE agenda before?
When we come back at 3, we can address the CRA meeting if we would like to do it that way. So that'd be the first thing we get into, and then finish the rest of the agenda.
That's fine. Whatever you want. It's your preference, sir. I just want to make sure that we get it done quickly. And then we have planning and zoning, and then we have budget. I think budget is going to have some interesting items to discuss. And I'm a little bit antsy today, as our city attorney says. So you know, I don't want to go on till midnight doing this. You know, so see if we can do it quicker. Just get over the antsiness of it.
That's the word of the day, antsy.
No, I needed to explain that a workshop, because it may be different than Tallahassee, a workshop here, you don't vote. And I wanted to make sure because then you would get frustrated if I didn't tell you. So that was.
We don't have workshops in Tallahassee. We just vote.
Right. So I
We got things
exactly.
done.
So
We have
I
60
wanted-
days.
right. So I
We
didn't
have
want
that
you
luxury
to
of
get,
talking about things too much.
I didn't want you to get upset.
The ferry.
I never get upset.
They also don't have sunshine in Tallahassee, so.
That's right.
We cut the deals before. We can't do that.
You cut the deal and then you go vote.
And then we go and we do the whole show, right? But yeah. By the way, I don't know who did that in Tallahassee. Why that sunshine law didn't apply to legislators?
Because you legislators are the one that imposed that on us, and you didn't want to impose it on yourself. I mean, it's very simple.
Commissioner Russell,
Municipal government, they don't have to.
Commissioner Russell, I heard you request about the RE.
I'm open to moving the RE agenda, except maybe RE4 will deserve some attention, so maybe pull that one, but I'm happy to move the rest of the RE agenda.
I have a question about RE3.
You know it's not going to happen that easy, Commissioner Russell.
Yeah.
Gotta try.
You gotta try.
It's not going to happen. It's going to take some time.
Three along the way, scooters, right? But that's a good conversation we're going to be having, I think.
That's right.
You'll be pleased with that conversation. At least you will. I don't know about the rest of the commissioners, but.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be pleased with what I have to say because I've never been in favor of them, but okay.
So if you want to move everything. I would agree to move everything except that.
RE3.
Well, except three.
RE6 has a change as well.
I would like to.
If I may,
I will put on well because I want to discuss RE6. But something is odd there to me.
Okay, RE6. And if I may, I know that there's a lot of
because sorry, I have a question. RE6 is that whole
trailer.
The whole vaccine issue, the University of Miami vaccine issue.
Yes.
I want to discuss that one too. That's a little bit.
Well, I'd like to take RE2 because while I approve it, I would like to add something to it.
So that's why I was just thinking.
So I figured that Commissioner Russell, your whole motion just went to the.
We meet after lunch.
Yeah. I think we'll do it after lunch. I think everybody wants to pull something.
I like that new look. I like that haircut, Russell.
Yeah.
It's not a haircut. I just found a comb.
It was a great attempt.
And with the glasses, you look like Clark Kent.
Commend you for that.
You look like Clark Kent, yeah.
Yeah. Put those glasses on.
You get an A for effort. You get an A for effort on that one.
You guys are my kryptonite. All right.
Listen, that's a much better compliment regarding haircut than you got last time. So
exactly.
Oh, he got offended. Oh my God.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to recess the meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Time?
Great.
How about the CRA? When do we come back for the CRA too?
Yes.
We do CRA first, right?
Yes.
We're going to make it 3, and we're going to start.
3, that's fine. That's fine.
We'll start with CRA and then we'll keep on going.
Okay.
CRA at 3.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good lunch, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Él pensaba que nosotros